guys. The two calling the game for you. Joe Davis, Joey Harrington. What a special day in Waco.
Yeah, what a scene, Rob. There's the $266 million symbol of one of college football's emerging powers. It's McLean Stadium, and it's ready to open for the number 10 team in the country, the Baylor Bears. In one of college football's greatest traditions, the Baylor line. The freshman class takes the field and then forms the tunnel that the reigning Big 12 champion Bears will run out of before taking on SMU. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Joe Davis, Joey Harrington, Chris Button joins us in just a moment. Hype has never been larger around this program. There's never been more excitement. They're ready to go, but now it's time to play football.
Well, yeah, Baylor and Coach Art Briles has spent the last 6 years playing an exciting, fun, fast style of football, and they are on the verge not only of becoming a Big 12 power, but of becoming a national power.
And the Bears take the field for the first time. Kind of a microcosm of this Baylor program when you're talking about expectations and you're talking about pressure. It's got to be their quarterback, Bryce Petty.
Yeah, Bryce Petty had one of the best statistical seasons in the history of college football last year. 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And I truly believe that Bryce Petty will not only dictate how this season goes for Baylor, but he will dictate the trajectory of this program. They are on the verge, and Bryce Petty has the opportunity to take him over the top.
Might be high pressure, but it's the truth.
Hey, it's the truth.
Let's bring in the third member of our crew now. Down to the sideline, Chris Button.
Well, you said it, Joe. The hype, the anticipation over the opening of McLean Stadium is here, and you can certainly feel it on the field. But now it's time to go play a football game. So how do you soak up everything about this environment and still focus on the task at hand? Coach Art Briles says he's going to tell his team, don't feel like you have to go out and win it on the very first drive. Take your time and enjoy this. But Coach Briles told me he has his own pressure. He feels indebted to everyone who made all this happen. He wants to give them a victory and a celebration tonight, Joe.
All right, Chris, the athletic director here at Baylor, Ian McCaw, says this is one of the biggest things to happen in the history of Baylor University, which was founded back in the mid-1800s. Number 10 Baylor and SMU after the break.
In the locker room, we are all the same. Win or lose, we get what we need to come back for more. Gatorade Recover, 20 grams of pro-caliber protein in the locker rooms of the pros, now in yours.
You wouldn't want to have it any other way in Texas. 94 degrees for this opening night at McLean Stadium. The first on-campus game at Baylor since 1935. So much hype surrounding this program, surrounding this stadium. Down to the field for the coin toss, George W. Bush.
It is the heads. SMU, you win the toss. No receive. You'll receive. Very good, gentlemen, right there. Shake hands. Have a great game.
You see Robert Griffin III there with the 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush. SMU wins the toss and will take the ball to begin. There's Bryce Petty, one of the candidates for the Heisman Trophy, reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. He says he wants to be the greatest ever to play here, which would mean bettering RG3, who you see right there with Drayton McLean, whose initial donation got this project started a little more than 2 years ago. Let's go down to Chris Button, who is with Robert Griffin III.
Hey guys, well, it's a big day here also because they dedicated a brand new statue to Robert Griffin III, the former Heisman Trophy winner. We're gonna grab you. You're right. I'm here with the guy who got the statue. You got to run through the Baylor line, RG3. What's it like to be here in this stadium?
I mean, everybody wants to be a Baylor Bear today. It's amazing. You know, God did wondrous things while I was here and with Coach Browse, and they continue to do them. I think everybody here deserves this. It's amazing. I
got to ask you about Bryce Petty. Of course, there's going to be the talk about the Heisman and the expectations of following last year. What are your advice for him?
Nothing else matters. When you step on that field, when you go between those lines, nothing matters. Awards don't matter. Stats don't matter. You go out and play with your boys. That's what it's all about.
I appreciate it. RG3, go enjoy the environment.
All right, man.
Guys.
All right, Chris, he said during the press conference for the unveiling that he wore the jacket there to be somewhat formal, but he's in jeans and tennis shoes because he's here to party.
Yeah. And Robert Griffin III said two things that hit it right on the head. Number one, everybody wants to be a Baylor Bear today. That's what this program has built. They've got the eyes of the entire country watching them. And number two, if you're Bryce Petty, nothing else matters but playing football. Not the country's expectations, not anything, not the Heisman voters, nothing matters but playing football with your boys out there. Go do it.
Deion Sanders Jr. lets it bounce into the end zone, and SMU will begin at the 25-yard line. Looking for a bounce-back season after missing out on a bowl last year for the first time since 2008. Neil Burcham, who started the final two games as a freshman last year, makes the start. We talked with June Jones about him. He feels good. He likes his temperament, but he admits you never really know until you get inside that atmosphere.
Well, absolutely. Neil played in relief of Garrett Gilbert when he got injured late in the season. Looked kind of shaky when he came in at first, but had a moment, had a couple games to settle down, looked very good at the end of the season against Central Florida, and a Central Florida team that took it to Baylor in the bowl game.
So June Jones run and shoot. Last year top 10 nationally throwing the ball, but bottom 10 running the ball. Begins from the 25. And Burcham will drop it off to Pope on a screenplay for a yard. It's thrown down by Avion Edwards and Bryce Hager. A converted linebacker with the first touch for SMU, 2nd and 9.
Well, converted linebacker, converted running back, converted back to linebacker. Kevin Pope has done everything for this SMU team, and they're going to ask him to carry the load in this running game. Not just carrying the ball out of the backfield, but catching the ball as well.
They'll empty it out on 2nd down and 9. With the play clock winding inside of 5. All 11 men within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage, so he looks to beat it over the top, but nothing there. In search of Raheem Malone as we look at our impact players.
Well, yes, SMU is going to throw the football. We know that. Darius Joseph caught 103 passes last year. And Kevin Pope, we talked about him a moment ago. SMU's Mr. Everything. On the defensive side of the ball for Baylor, Sean Oakman is just a freak. 6'9", 280 pounds. Watch him disrupt things in the backfield. And, of course, Bryce Hager, the all-conference middle linebacker, anchoring things down in the middle.
Opening drive, SMU 3rd and 9. And Burcham will take a timeout looking at pressure and here in this crowd.
Timeout, SMU.
How about the job June Jones has done? Turning this program around, his 7th season now at SMU. Took SMU to its first bowl in 25 years in 2008.
Well, that's, I mean, coming off the death penalty as SMU did a few years ago, June Jones has never had back-to-back losing seasons at SMU, and that's what I think is the most impressive. June Jones had success at Hawaii, he's had success in the NFL, but what he's done at SMU in a very short amount of time is commendable.
His Mustangs trying to bounce back this year after missing out on that bowl. Facing the reigning Big 12 champs and facing a 3rd down and 9 out of this timeout. They bring only 4. Bertram wants to drop off the screen to Pope and does, but it's strung out and it's 4th down. Avion Edwards making his first career start at that outside linebacker spot with his 2nd tackle. And the defense that forced more 3-and-outs than any other in the country forces one here.
Well, that's what Phil Bennett wanted to do. Defensive coordinator for Baylor told us he focuses on 3-and-outs, especially at the start of the game, because what it does is it gives Baylor's offense the ball back. They can score points. Now all of a sudden the opposing team finds themselves behind the scoreboard early in the game and they start to press.
Levi Norwood back to receive the first punt from Jackson Pierce, a true freshman. And it's Norwood from inside the 40. SMU is one of the worst punt coverage teams in the country last year, but they do a nice job to hem him in there. And Baylor will begin at the 41-yard line. Coming off one of the best offensive seasons in college football history, 52.5 points a game.
Baylor.
And led once again by Bryce Petty, reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, who told us, and he's been here for a while, he's never seen hype close to the hype coming into this game tonight.
Well, it's true, and they deserve it. Baylor has done an incredible job of building from really nothing. I mean, they were the bottom of the Big 12. Robert Griffin III takes him to a Heisman Trophy. Nick Florence puts him on the offensive map, and now you've got Bryce Petty about to take him over the top.
And Linwood will motion out to make it an empty set. The flag comes in. And then a legal procedure.
Number 75 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
One thing with Baylor, they were the most penalized team in the country last year.
Well, when you go at such a tempo, you're gonna make a few mistakes, but I guess you bank it. Yeah, you live with it. You bank that you're gonna make a few more plays as well.
So 1st and 15 to begin. And Petty with a quick toss to Jade Lee. An open field tackle for Ajay Montez, making his first career start. One of 3 defensive backs making their first career starts tonight. Not a comfortable team to do that against. That snap rolls back there, but Linwood off of the handoff from Petty spins his way for a first down into SMU territory. Zelt Minor back to make the tackle after an 11-yard gain. Here's Petty off play action, almost picked off with a miscommunication. And Goodley going deep and threw it underneath.
Well, that was a choice route there by Antoine Goodley in the seam. Bryce Petty thought he was going to cross the safety's face, let go of the ball before he made his break. It was great timing, except Antoine Goodley saw something else and took it up the seam.
So 2nd and 10, and again Jay Lee. And boy, that's an island out there for Ajay Montez. Twice he's come up big with one-on-one tackles, but nobody behind him if he can't.
Well, if you're SMU, you're going to have to play that aggressive style of defense to disrupt Baylor in the backfield, and that's going to leave your DBs on an island.
Off of the zone replay, Petty pulls and gets a first down inside the 25. It's a 17-yard gain, and that is an increased focus this year for Baylor, him running the football.
Well, you know what? I don't think he gets enough credit for being an all-around quarterback. You think of him as just a passer, but he led the Big 12 in rushing touchdowns last year with 14.
Linwood has a seam and another Baylor first down. Aiden Greenbaugh with a stop out of the secondary. The top returning rusher in the Big 12, and Baylor right back on the ball. One of the fastest moving offenses in the country. From the 11. And a dangerous throw with Norwood out in front blocking for Lee. Nice job by Montez, who's been tested early.
Hey, Joe, a few plays ago, let's take a look at the option by Bryce Petty here. Sees the defensive end collapse and just pulls the ball out and turns the corner. In order to be effective in this offense, you don't have to be extremely fast as a quarterback, but you got to make great decisions.
Linwood popped by Jonathan Yinga, linebacker for this SMU team that the staff is really high on, sliding from outside to inside backer for this junior season.
Hey, Joe, there's a perception out there that Baylor just throws the ball all over the place, and they do. They have a lot of success through the air, but it's based on a ground attack, and Art Briles wants to run the football first.
Petty on third down, lobs one out of bounds. And Baylor looking at a fourth down. They could get a first down. Ball spotted at about the 6. So fourth down and 4, and the field goal team onto the field. Robert Seals with the pressure. And you're talking about it. One of the common misnomers about this Baylor program is that they're all throwing, but they've been top 2 in the Big 12 the last 3 seasons and have had a 1,000-yard rusher 4 consecutive years. First career attempt for Chris Callahan from 23. And the first points in McLean Stadium come on the first kick for the redshirt freshman from Houston. He's replacing the Big 12's all-time leading scorer, Aaron Jones. Points on the opening possession for one of the nation's top offenses. Fox Sports 1 College Football is presented by the Cree LED Bowl. $266 million McLean Stadium, the north bank of the Brazos River. One of the biggest things ever to happen to this university. And so much hype surrounding this program. The stadium on top of it. There's as much buzz around Waco as there's ever been.
Joe, why wouldn't you want to come play for Baylor when you see guys like that having fun? Robert Griffin hit it on the head. People want to come be a Baylor Bear right now.
Deion Sanders Jr. back to receive this kick. And backs him into the end zone. He'll bring it out. And Sanders Jr. with some space to get it to the 23. Cost himself a couple of yards by bringing it out of the end zone. And SMU gets ready for its second possession. What'd you see on that first 3 and out?
About what I expected. I saw some aggressive defensive calls from Baylor. They brought the house a couple times. They faked it once to the young quarterback in Neil Bertram. And what I want to see from Neil now is you're on the road. The crowd is loud. You got a big, big environment here. Settle down, make a first down, and get this offense rolling.
Former SMU head coach Phil Bennett, you saw there, now the defensive coordinator at Baylor. Prescott Line in the game at running back for the first time. Bertram throwing for Nelson, well defended by Xavier Howard. The secondary is the #1 concern, or at least question, for this Baylor team, and Howard, a guy they really like.
Yeah, they do. Coaches were really high. Just call him X. They said he's one of the most athletic, explosive guys out there, and they're looking for 2, 3, 4 new corners. And they graduated a whole group of senior cornerbacks last year. Terrell Burt, the safety, is the returning member, the veteran in that secondary, and they're looking for Xavier to be a big player in this defense.
Second down and 10. SMU looking to pick up its first down of the afternoon. Bertram well protected, but the coverage is solid. And Thompson can't pull down a high throw. It's third down. Terrell Burt with the coverage. And a guy making his team-high 31st career start.
We know, Joe, that play right there was made by the pressure. Coming off the left side, Bryce Hager right here gets in the face of Neil Bertram, forces him to slide over out of the pocket, and consequently he was late on that throw. He had his wide receiver open, but it was the pressure up front that made Neil Bertram slide out, and he was just a half-second late, and that's all it takes.
2 drives and 2 third and longs for SMU. Play clock inside of 5. Bertram knows. And a draw play. Line has room. And Prescott Line has the first down. Terrell Burt, Jamal Palmer combining on the stop. Needed 9 and got 10.
Well, that's what you needed if you're the SMU offense. Just move the chains. This offense, a lot like Baylor's, is based on rhythm, timing, tempo. You're going to see less of the zone read in the background or in the backfield, but you're going to see a lot of choice routes, a lot of quick hitting throws from SMU. And they just need to move the chains and settle down.
Bubble screen to Cedric Lancaster. Redshirt freshman gets a couple. Trayvon Blanchard ran him down after 2. Second down and 8 coming up. Lancaster, a guy that June Jones is really high on.
Yeah, I said he's one of the fastest guys he's ever coached, and that's saying a lot considering all the receivers, guys like Ashley Lee he had at Hawaii. They're going to need Cedric to be the guy opposite Darius Joseph if they want to have success through the air this year.
Here's another screen play, and Bryce Hager, the quarterback of this defense, said it sniffed out.
Well, he did. He sat right there on Kevin Pope. The offensive line set it up well, allowed the Baylor defensive line to get through into the backfield, but Bryce Hager was sitting there to make a tackle, even if the ball was thrown accurately.
And yet another third down and long for this offense.
Well, this is an ideal situation for the Baylor defense. They are not a stout, in-your-face, stuff you at the line of scrimmage type of defense. They're a fast, explosive, third down, pin their ears back and try and create a turnover type of defense. You gotta look right here. Look at all the guys up within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage.
All 11 of them for Baylor, and they bring pressure. Burcham tries to beat it with a speed out. Hits Darius Joseph for his first reception of the season, but well short of the first down. Terrell Burt with a solid start to this game, 4th and 3.
Joe, take a look here. You see all 11 defenders for Baylor up within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage. What it does on a 3rd and long situation is it forces Neil Burchard to get the ball out of his hands quickly. His receivers don't have time to get to the first down marker before Baylor can rally and make a tackle.
Line drive punt to Levi Norwood. And it's down by Pope inside the 30. First drive for the Bears produced a field goal. Second drive will be directed by Bryce Petty, one of the nation's top quarterbacks, when you come back. McLean Stadium, the north bank of the Brazos River here in Waco, Texas, where the Bears have a 3-0 lead in front of a capacity crowd of more than 45,000. I think the fire marshal would be upset if they said it was too much higher than that, but it's certainly more than 45. Second drive for the Bears under the direction of Petty. Let him do a field goal on the first drive. Off play action on first down. With a strong arm has Jay Lee for his 3rd catch and 16 yards to the 46. And picking on Ajay Montez early.
Well, what Bryce did there is he saw the pressure coming off the edge. Saw the linebacker pretending to come, and what he did is he checked out. Read the linebacker, went to where they were vacating an area.
Another play action pass. Lofts it deep and too far for Goodley. We talked with Bryce Petty about last season, and he said some of the things that stuck with him were those overthrows and the couple of losses. Oklahoma State, the bowl game against UCF, and just overshoots Goodley there. Second and 10. Here's Chafin. Run down from behind by Stephon Sanders, who's making his 30th career start.
Hey, Joe, just a minute ago on that throw out to the side for Jay Lee, watch Bryce Petty's left hip. Little grimace on his face, a little bit of a limp. After that handoff there as well, he was holding the backside of his left hip. Maybe something we need to take a look at as the game goes on.
And look at a 3rd and 9 now. Change things up based on the look SMU gives it. Mustangs drop 8 into coverage, so tight windows, but Lee runs free, and Petty misses him. Second deep ball that he's missed on, and it's 4th down.
You know what? Those balls are actually tougher to throw than you think, because you see your guy running free, and all you think is you get this wave of excitement and think just don't miss it, don't miss it, don't miss it. What do you end up doing? You end up just putting a little too much mustard on it and throwing it too deep.
Sometimes the easiest ones are the hardest ones. Right?
Absolutely, and it's what we talked about earlier. This all has to do with excitement, with momentum, with trying to make big plays. Just settle down. You know, everybody has it. It's not just SMU who has the jitters right now. It's Baylor, a new stadium, excitement. Settle down and play your style of football.
Four-year starter Spencer Roth with his first punt of the year. Lancaster goes back to field it inside the 10, and he's pulled down by Levi Norwood. So SMU will be backed into the closed end of this stadium. Bryce Petty with a grimace on a missed deep ball. Fox Sports 1 College Football is presented by the Cree LED Bowl. And 2 series for Neil Burcham. He's out. They bring Matt Davis in, the first-year transfer, redshirted for a year at Texas A&M. Lost out on the job to a guy you might have heard of, Johnny Manziel. Spent a year at JUCO, and now at SMU, taking over this offense 3 drives into the season. And again, all 8 men up at the line of scrimmage. His first throw to the sideline, pulled in by Raheem Malone. His first catch. Orion Stewart with a stop. And it'll be second down and short.
Well, remember what June Jones told us about Matt Davis. He said he's intriguing. That's a key word for a coach. He didn't say he's not going to play, or he didn't say he's fast, or he doesn't say he's slow in picking up the offense. He said he's intriguing, which means there's got some upside. He's got some potential. He likes him, but maybe he's just not quite ready with the full grasp of the offense yet.
2 plays and 2 throws. This one's to Derek Thompson. He's got a first down across the 20. He gives him a dimension that Neil Burcham doesn't. That's the ability to run the football.
Hey, Joe, watch this. Very nice read by Matt Davis here. He's going to look to throw the screen out to Pope, number 3, and he sees the defensive end go out with him, so he turns back around and throws the inside slip screen. Great read, great patience by Matt Davis.
Been running that play a long time, back to your Oregon days, into the NFL.
Oh, the old Jeff Tedford double screen there. Read the defensive end, read the end man on the line of scrimmage. If he comes upfield, you jump it over the top. If he peels on it, you turn back and throw the slip screen inside.
Play clock down to 2. Davis doesn't seem to know it, and that's a delay of game. Greg Burks, head referee today.
Delay, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And we saw Bryce Petty on first down in that previous possession. You picked up on it, him reaching down and grabbing that left hip, left oblique area, and they've been looking at him in the 5 minutes or so since the offense came off the field.
Yeah, trainers looks like they're rubbing a little bit maybe icy hot on there. Just get something warm. We've all been there. You tweak a little something when you're throwing. I would be surprised if Bryce Petty stayed out of this ball game.
You saw Seth Russell warming though. Davis with another throw, showing off that arm into good coverage. Incomplete. Wanted Thompson. It was covered by Xavier Howard. He's shown to be just as impressive as the staff said he would.
That's right. The second time we've talked about Xavier Howard here. Look at him singled up in man coverage. No help. It's just him and Derek Thompson out there. He does a great job of keeping his leverage. He never let Derek Thompson get on top of him. He controlled where the route was going. Great play by Xavier Howard.
You surprised we're not seeing more run plays? I mean, I know that this is June Jones.
This is June Jones's run and shoot offense, but he did say that he wanted to run the ball a little bit more. You know, when your leading rusher has 300 yards from a year ago, things need to balance out a little bit.
Heavy screen game early, but Blackshear was ready for this and jolted it loose. Steven Nelson couldn't hang on. Avion Edwards picked it up and sets up first and goal.
Steven Nelson on the play.
Joe, we talked about it a moment ago. This isn't a Baylor defense that's going to line up and take you on head on. But what they're going to do is they're going to fly around. They're going to try and create turnovers. That's what they did last year. That's what they just did right now to start the season. Great play by the Baylor defense, giving their offense the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Blackshear got there first, and then Hager cleaned it out by knocking it out. And Petty does come out with the offense. Great sign for Baylor. On first and goal, it's Linwood into the teeth of the defense for a yard. And you know that all 45,000 people that had a good look at it here, and everybody watching across Texas and Baylor fans across America holding their breath until they saw Petty come out for this drive. Extra alignment in the game for second and goal, and Linwood walks in. Big 12's leading returning rusher has the first touchdown in this new stadium.
The first of what I'm sure is going to be many touchdowns for Shock Linwood this year.
Callahan's extra point is good. Baylor takes advantage of the takeaway with Shock Linwood, the sophomore from Linden, Texas. In from 4 yards. So Petty seems to be okay. So does the Baylor offense, taking advantage of the defense. 10-0. Helicopter shots, cameras inside of the stadium, how great it is, but stuff you can't see unless you come inside the building and get to take a look at it. There's some remarkable stuff inside this stadium.
Fantastic venue for college football. What a testament to what Art Briles has built here at Baylor. You know, who would have thought 10 years ago that they'd be building a brand new $266 million facility? Says a lot about where they've come.
Only 5 years ago, they were 4-8, missed out on a bowl game for the 16th consecutive year. Again, Deion Sanders Jr. was parked at the 10-yard line before the kick, so he's retreating to catch it in the end zone and pulled down just past the 15.
Deion Sanders Jr.
So second drive coming here for Matt Davis. And Neil Burcham for a couple of possessions, averaged about 2 yards a play on those possessions, and then went to Davis with an injured player for the Bears. As they take a look at the injured player, we remind you on Saturday, college football on Fox returns. One of the most anticipated games the early season. It's Michigan State and Oregon. Oh, Connor Cook the other night, 12 of 13, 285 yards and 3 touchdowns against Jacksonville State, but pretty good performance. And take it on Marcus Mariota and the third-ranked Ducks, who passed you the all-time touchdown category last night for Oregon. 5:30 on Saturday on Fox. Pretty good player.
All Marcus had to do was blink, and he would pass me as the all-time touchdown leader. He had an entire season to break that one, Joe.
Cole Edmiston, the injured player, helped off by this training staff. So here's Matt Davis again. Started to see some signs of life from that offense on the previous possession, his first possession, before the first SMU turnover set Baylor up with a first down and goal. Collapsing pocket has him scrambling. Somehow stays on his feet, but then goes down. Palmer got to him along with Howard. And showed some signs of why they like him, but ultimately loses 4.
Yeah, he may not have gotten any yards. In fact, he lost about 5, but the ability to simply get out of that first tackle was really impressive. Steps up in the pocket, slides out to his left. Credit Baylor's defense for covering his receivers for an extended period of time down the field. But nice job of getting out of the pocket there by Matt Davis.
He's considered one of the top quarterback recruits in the country, coming out of Houston. Had offers from Auburn and Alabama, LSU, Nebraska. Ultimately went to Texas A&M. Lost out on the job to Johnny Manziel. No room for Kevin Pope. And yet again, it's a 3rd and long for the Mustangs.
Joe, watch Bryce Hager here come in and finish off Kevin Pope. Just drops a shoulder into him. More just a forearm. Welcome to McLean Stadium.
Two-time All-Big 12 performer. Back from the groin injury that cut last season short. Missed the last 4 games. They were a different team in a bad way without him. 3rd and 15. 8 in coverage, and they still get home with 3 in pressure. And Sean Oakman will get credit for the sack. The 6'9", 280-pounder out of Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. Penn State transfer, one of the more imposing figures in college football.
I don't know that I've seen a man as big as Sean Oakman before. I love what the coaches, what Art Briles said about him the other day. He could shake your hand from across the room. The guy's reach, the guy's length is incredible. That time he just uses pure speed to get around the edge. he's going to be a force in the Big 12 this year.
6'9", 280, and jacked. I mean, he's cut. Baylor sent to get good field position. Here's Norwood. Back into the 49. Had 2 punt return touchdowns last year. Has a chance on this one. First down and goal, Baylor on a return of 45.
Joe, last year, all Big 12 as an all-purpose player, Levi Norwood shows why he's such a valuable part of this Baylor team. Again, Baylor's offense now is set up inside of the 10-yard line. We talked about SMU getting first downs to establish rhythm. They need to get first downs to flip the field. Baylor's working with the short field every time.
Chafin gobbled up. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Zach Wood made the stop. We're talking about an offense that averaged over 600 yards a game last year. Getting the ball inside the 10 for the second drive in a row.
Well, they're going to have 17 points and 17 yards. I mean, they started on the 8-yard line last time, starting on the 4-yard line this time. SMU cannot afford to give Baylor a short field.
It's Chafin on second and goal. And now third down and goal for the Bears. Hard to nitpick this offense from last year, but they were not very good in the red zone. Now, granted, most of the touchdowns came from outside of the red zone.
Exactly.
But down in the middle part nationally, 66th in red zone offense.
You know, Coach Briles is hoping Devin Chafin, a bigger, stronger back, 225 pounds, can be that guy to bulldoze his way into the end zone. Yeah.
That'll set up first and goal again.
Bryce Petty trying to throw the back shoulder ball to Jay Lee there.
Illegal formation, offense, holding, number 10, defense. The penalty's offset, third down.
So we'll redo the down, and SMU gets a break. It's Montez again that they attack with Jay Lee.
Pretty easy call if you're an official right there. Doesn't look, grabs Jay Lee by the jersey.
So another third down and goal. Let's see where they go to here. Petty off play action, end zone touchdown. First career catch for Trayvon Armstead is a touchdown. Flags coming in the celebration. How about the converted offensive lineman at 6'6", 265. Collecting his first catch and collecting his first touchdown in the same play.
After the score, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 41, Baylor. 15-yard penalty being forced on the kickoff.
In all fairness, old linemen don't have many opportunities to celebrate like that.
Exactly. I love what Bryce Petty said about him the other day. Trayvon is the type of guy, if you told him to run through that wall, he'd run through that wall. But he followed it quickly by saying he's not stupid now. He'll do it because he's a great teammate and he'll do anything for us. Maybe Bryce should just tell him, hey, don't throw the ball into the band next time.
Right, he'll learn. First catch. Callahan's extra point. Makes it 17-0. SMU spoon-feeding it to Baylor, who we know doesn't need that. It's a return by Norwood inside the 10 to set up the Armstead touchdown on third and goal.
Her passion for soccer turned into
this facility. Baylor with a 17-0 lead, 2:40 right into this opening quarter. There's Armstead. Obviously a converted offensive lineman, but they knew he had soft hands from his high school basketball days. The big part of the running game last year when he moved to tight end. I think he quietly could be part of this passing game as well this year. And shows it off here in the first quarter of the first game. So with the celebration penalty, this kick will come from the 20. And Spencer Evans. And a whistle.
Delay on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
You ever see a ball kick from the 15? Or
have you ever seen a delay
kick?
of game on a kickoff?
There's a lot going on, right? You know, they're caught up in the atmosphere. Had to go get the ball. Armstead threw it. What, 30 yards?
To get out of the tuba. Get it out of the tuba he threw it into.
Third Baylor penalty. They were the most penalized team in the country last year. So a kickoff from the 15 and a chance for SMU to get its best field position of the day.
Well, that's going to be key, Joe. We talked about it a moment ago that Baylor has had a short field. SMU hasn't been able to convert first downs to flip the field. It looks like they're going to start with the ball in great field position here on this drive.
Deion Sanders Jr. from inside his own 10. And Sanders Jr. with all kinds of space and with speed to slip his way across midfield. All the way back inside the 35 on a return of 58 yards for primetime Sun.
That's the momentum you needed if you were SMU. Rhythm, excitement. You just need something to vault you into some sort of, you need some success to build on. Matt Davis has come in, giving your offense a little bit of a spark. Now it's time to build on the great return by Deion Sanders Jr. and get back to this run and shoot offense.
They had 20 yards of offense over the first 4 possessions. They got 58 on that return, and it's back to Neil Burcham. Ready to run the first snap in Baylor territory. Only 4 rush. He's still able to get pressure with it. Burcham can't get away from Edwards and Blackshear. And luckily for him was on the sideline when that ball popped out.
Watch Avion Edwards here, number 20, just spying on Burcham. Doesn't allow him to get the edge to get to the sideline where Baylor did not have any more defenders. It was him or nothing. Great job of making an open field tackle, forcing him back inside. Allowing Bo Blackshear to come in and help clean up.
Now there's a play where you miss what Matt Davis brings you, ability to get to the edge and get around a guy like Edwards. They bring 6 on second down. This time it's picked up. And boy, right now Neil Burcham is not close to comfortable. 3rd and long.
No, he's not. I liked the decision to bring Matt Davis in earlier in the game, and it looks like June Jones is going to go back to that right now. With the pressure that Baylor's bringing, with the disruption they're getting into the backfield, I think at the very least right now, Matt Davis gives you the ability to scramble and make something happen with his feet. I think this is the right decision by Coach June Jones, bringing Matt back into the ballgame.
Seven in coverage and a quarterback draw. Davis gets around a couple of defenders, and then Jamal Palmer brings him down after 2. So after the great kick return, they're looking at a 4th down and 13. Outside of field goal range right here.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say, is they started in field goal range, and a couple great plays by the Baylor defense have now pushed them back into a situation where they're either going to punt it or go for it on 4th and long.
Timeout. SMU, their 2nd of the half. 30 seconds in league.
So June Jones takes a timeout. Let's check in down with Chris Budden. Chris.
One of the most unique aspects about McLean Stadium is the way they tailgate, or in their words, sailgating. They're now one of 3 Division I colleges to have a stadium that's by water, joining Washington and Tennessee. They have 16 boat slips, so you can come up in a pontoon. I got to spend the day with a couple of tailgaters, and really a great atmosphere. Very short walk over the bridge to get here to McLean Stadium, and really one of the unique parts of this. So bring your sunscreen because it's a warm one on a day game, guys, but it's a ton of fun out there.
The Bear Mata, they call them out there. I just want to know why we weren't invited out of the boats. Well, you like the Bear Mata thing?
The Bear Mata?
Yeah, bit of a stretch.
Maybe a little bit.
Well, 4th down and 13, and Bertram's back out there.
I like the effort, though.
Yeah, right. Looking short side into double coverage, and a smart play by Stewart not to catch it, though not sure he didn't try to catch it. And a turnover on downs. SMU unable to do anything with a great field position.
Credit Baylor's defense. You know, that was the question mark coming into this season, and all we've seen from Baylor is aggressive defensive play against a very potent SMU offense.
As defense for Baylor last year, Art Briles would tell you, despite Art being an offensive guy, that the defense is the reason they won that Big 12 title. Phil Bennett has been so good as a D coordinator. You go back 2 years ago, they were 113th in defense the year that RG3 won the Heisman, 110th in 2012, and the top 40 nationally last year. First carry for Johnny Jefferson. Redshirt freshman from Killeen, Texas. Darian Wright with the tackle.
Is that Chris?
No, that's not Chris.
Chris is not paddling out there. No. Chris, you still on the sideline? You go out to that canoe.
2nd down and 6. Petty well protected, a pocket to step into for a 1st down. Links Hawthorne with only his 3rd career reception. Into the starting spot today with Corey Coleman's hamstring injury.
And a great job by Links there coming back to the ball. He found himself a softness in the zone, settled down, and as Bryce Petty delivered the pass, he came back to meet it, not allowing the defender to get there.
Pressure picked up in trouble for SMU. A deep ball to the end zone. Touchdown! And what an exclamation for K.D. Cannon to announce his arrival to Waco. It's the touchdown. 46 yards from Petty to the true freshman on his first career catch.
And Joe, the pass that Bryce Petty missed earlier in the game, that wide open ball up the sideline, just settled down and did what he did all last season, delivered a strike for a deep touchdown.
And just when it looked like SMU is maybe getting some momentum with a kick return, Baylor steals it right back.
Hey, Joe, watch K.D. Cannon here. He releases on the safety, gives a little nod to the inside, just enough to draw him down. And that's just flat speed. Flat speed running by the safety there. Tevin Reese, remember, their speedster from last year graduated, and they're looking for someone to take his place.
Yeah, this is a bit alarming for Baylor, seeing Petty again grabbing that lower back.
Well, yeah, boy, game 1. I think he took a shot on that option that he was running earlier in the ball game. Maybe took a helmet back there. It's obviously bothering him. Is there a point where you think about taking him out? Yeah. Maybe earlier than you would have. Up 24-0 here in the first, at the end of the first quarter. This guy, like we talked about in the open, this guy may determine not just the trajectory of the season, but the trajectory of this Baylor program. He's not somebody that you can afford to have play injured, and if you have the opportunity to sit him down and keep him healthy, I really might consider that if I was Art Briles.
It could be the conversation going down on the sideline right now. They do like Seth Russell. They say he's the future after Petty. And Baylor's gotten to the point in this short time where they really do just reload.
You know what? I had a chance to go down in pregame and watch Seth throw the ball a little bit. He can spin it.
Bullet of a kick out of the back of the end zone. Oh, Friday, UFC Fight Night returns to Fox Sports 1 with an epic night of bouts, including a middleweight showdown between 4th-ranked Jakari Souza and 7th-ranked Gegard Mousasi. The action starts Friday at 7 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Baylor kicked the field goal on its opening possession. The touchdowns on 3 consecutive drives since. And it's Matt Davis as they continue to shuffle these quarterbacks around. And it's another first down throw under duress. Davis uses that athleticism to stay up for a moment, but they mark him down. A loss of 11 yards. K.J. Smith will get credit for the sack.
You know, it's interesting, Joe. We've seen Matt Davis have to escape from pressure a couple times. And right there, I think it was because he held onto the ball a little bit too long. You know, Coach June Jones told us that he doesn't have a grasp of this offense yet. He has a smaller package that he's coming into the game with. Maybe that's why Matt's sitting a little bit too long in the pocket.
Just how the Bears drew it up for the opening quarter, the opening game at McLean Stadium. Dominant first quarter for number 10 Baylor. At a 24-0 lead as we go to the second. On opening night at McLean Stadium. They're starting the season as a top 10 team for the first time since 1957. The year they went 3-6-1. Hoping for better success. The lofty preseason expectations this time around. 7 of the last 8 plays have gone for 0 or negative yards for SMU. Matt Davis back in on 2nd down and 21. Pressure from his blind side, still able to get rid of it, but it forced an errant throw. And it's 3rd and a mile. Let's check in with Chris on Bryce Petty.
Yeah, quick update. The training staff for Baylor told me he's fine. He just took a tough tackle, and we should still see him back up there. So that's some good news coming from the Baylor sidelines.
Huge news for Baylor. So very well, could find out quickly here with another 3rd down and long for the Mustangs. To draw play. Pope. Tough running up to the 20. Still well short. 4th down and 15. Punting back out for SMU. There's Levi Norwood. Brought it back 45 yards his last time. We'll set up the return for Norwood. Takes a fair catch inside the 40. That's where Baylor will have it. Time now for the Lowe's Never Stop Improving Game Break.
All right, Joe, from one stadium by a river to another, we head to Knoxville. Utah State fumbled, Tennessee cashed in. Justin Worley to Brendan Downs. It's now 17-0 at the break in favor of the Volunteers.
That's a little bit surprising, isn't it? I mean, Utah State. It's Chucky Keaton back from injury, but at Tennessee down 17-0 early. And so it is Bryce Petty back out there. Devin Chafin with a first down carry for 3.
You know, we saw Devin Chafin earlier down in the goal line. Coach Briles told us that You're going to see a lot of Shock Linwood this year, but you're also going to see a lot of Devin. And the injuries last year to Lake Seastrunk and Glasgow Martin gave both of these young runners a chance to get some valuable game experience.
With that total yard disparity, 1 yard for SMU. Chafin with some patient running. And Bo Barnes, converted defensive end, who slid back to linebacker this year, got him from behind. They set up a 3rd down and 5. You really like this Devin Chafin. Art Briles said he's borderline freaky good. He's only borderline because they haven't seen enough to confirm that yet. Played enough.
When you're splitting time with someone who averaged nearly 7 yards a carry in Shock Linwood, you got to be doing something right.
Pressure out of the secondary, and a dangerous throw goes right through the hands of Stephon Sanders. So it's 4th down, and Baylor will have to punt it away. Rare 3 and out for the Baylor offense. Cedric Lancaster back to receive this punt. Spencer Roth. High punt allows the coverage team to get down under it. And it's Norwood to down it inside the 20. So SMU with the ball back, but down 24-0 when we come back to Waco. Class of 2018 will always be able to say they were the first to do the Baylor line in McLean Stadium. 4,000 freshmen in those yellow shirts, and kind of backwards here, they get those great seats in the lower bowl right up against the field. Pope on 1st down. Colin Brentz has him. Gain of a yard. Speaking of a good seat, Chris has one down in the field.
You know, one of the many reasons that Art Briles loves this stadium is how it affects recruiting, and right behind it you can see the recruiting suite. Fully furnished is where the recruits spend pregame. They go and then watch the game upstairs. He says this weekend he expects to have twice as many top recruits here at Baylor than he says any other university in the country. When I asked him, how does this affect your recruiting, he said now you can drive down I-35 and you see it from the highway. Before you never had that with Floyd Casey. He wouldn't even take his guys there. And now he says when an 8-year-old drives down, he can see that and say, Grandma, what's this? Well, that is McLean Stadium.
Yeah, and being on I-35, they say anywhere from 40 to 50 million cars a year are going to be going by here. And seeing this, really what is a monument to this turnaround, what Art Briles has built here. 3rd and 5 for SMU. Inside the recruiting lounge. Now Briles said that he's not recruiting on tradition yet. They're in the infant stages of turning this thing around still. Recruited on flair and flash. And it used to be that meant the sweet unis. Now it means the new digs. Pressure on 3rd and 5. Davis took his eyes down early. Scrambles away from pressure and just heaves it up for grabs. And Howard went up and got it. Xavier Howard with the interception. And Baylor takes over at the 30.
Well, Matt Davis there may have paid a little bit too much attention to his former teammate and Johnny Manziel. And, you know, this is just not a play that you can make. You just can't do this. You can't make this decision. Scrambling out to the left, turning back, throwing all the way across the field. On your own side of the field. Not a decision you can make at any time in a ball game, but especially when you're down 24-0 and looking to get something going on offense.
How about this defense, which is replacing 7 starters from last year? Granted, several guys that had significant roles without starting. Blitz is picked up. All kinds of room for Jay Lee. Petty takes advantage for 15 yards. Been his favorite target in this first half.
Well, Joe, Bryce Petty is definitely limping pretty good out there.
Lee again. Got a block from Norwood. You got a first down at the 5. And again, you bring up the question, how long do you stick with him with this game easily in hand?
So if you're asking me right now, not much longer than this drive. I mean, the potential of going up 31-0 right here.
Petty keeps it and lumbers his way in for the touchdown. And if you're Art Briles, you know that you're cringing watching him crash in like that.
Listen, if you're Art Briles, you gotta take control and say, get him out of the ball game, because Bryce is such a competitor. He's not going to back down. He's going to put his shoulder down and run the ball like he did just there. Look, and Bryce is too valuable to this Baylor program to allow him to stay in the game much longer.
I don't think you have any choice now. I mean, had his offensive line scraping him off of the deck after that touchdown. You saw Art Briles' words there. Not happy that he kept it. Put himself in that predicament. Well, you'd like to say everything's going right. It's 31-0 Baylor, with some concerns with the health of their All-American quarterback.
Joe's after this hit by Jonathan Yenga that we saw Bryce Petty start to limp a little bit, hold his back. That was back in the first quarter. Bryce finished off the drive just a moment ago with a touchdown run. And he took another shot right on that back, right on that lower back, and came up. He came up grimacing. I mean, they got a slew of trainers around him right now. If you're Art Briles, you have to save Bryce Petty from himself. I mean, he's such a competitor that he will not take himself out of the ballgame.
And you saw that was not a design quarterback run. That was a read play where he put it, to your point, and put himself in that situation.
Absolutely.
For now, to be SMU back on offense. Deion Sanders Jr. coming forward on the kick for the first down. Mustangs to start at the 26. Meanwhile, on this side of the ball for SMU, hard to get any kind of rhythm when you're bouncing from quarterback to quarterback.
Well, not only are you bouncing quarterback to quarterback, but both quarterbacks, when they're in there, are getting bounced around in the pocket. I mean, the pressure from the Baylor front seven has been tremendous. The play from the new secondary of Baylor has been definitely more than what the country expected. Xavier Howard has done a very nice job on a couple of deep balls. SMU just needs to get some sort of rhythm going here, make a first down.
You saw Seth Russell, backup quarterback for Baylor, getting loose. Neil Burcham under pressure with all kinds of room to run. Doesn't have very great speed, though. While Palmer pushes him out of bounds late. That'll draw 15 yards. Move the ball out near midfield.
Personal foul, number 92, defense. Late hit out of bounds. 15 yards, first down.
It was 92, Jamal Palmer. Honorable mention all Big 12 last year, despite not even being a starter.
Not something that's going to hurt you in this ball game. Right. But those are the kind of things that you need to clean up if you're a Baylor defense. I love the aggressiveness. I'm sure Phil Bennett loves the aggressiveness, but they're push that line, but don't cross it.
They're not going to hurt you in this game, but going to hurt you when your goal becomes things like winning a national championship into that college football playoff, which they're not shy about talking about. First down carry for Pope goes for 5. Grant Campbell with a stop for Phil Bennett.
Getting a good talking to right there. Phil Bennett putting his hands up. What are you doing? You got to be smarter than that.
Phil played Texas A&M, says he wasn't the most skilled guy, but he was tough and he knew what he was doing. So he was good because of it. Pope against a run blitz has nowhere to go.
Well, he said he was a smart football player.
Yeah.
He knew what to do. He knew where to be. and he made the right decisions. That's just a matter of decision-making on the sideline. Do I pull up and deliver a blow to the or do I keep going and deliver a blow to the quarterback? Do I pull up and let him coast out of bounds? Those are the things that you need to choose correctly as the season goes on.
SMU 1 for 7 on 3rd down, and you can see why. An average distance of 3rd down and about 15. This is 36. Burcham in rhythm this time finds Joseph, but well short of the sticks. Colin Brents, former walk-on, making his first career start with a tackle. 4th down and about 3.
Well, Joe, SMU's in a difficult position because they can't push the ball down the field because of the pressure by the front 7 of Baylor. But when they throw the ball quickly and get it out of their hands, Baylor's ready for it, and their secondary is driving on it. So they're kind of in a catch-22. If they drop back and try to throw the ball deep, the quarterback's getting sacked and flushed out. When they throw the ball quickly, the secondary is driving it and making great tackles before they get to a 1st down.
Baylor was the 2nd best 4th down defense in the country last year. And the speed out is out in front of his intended receiver Malone. That's turnover on downs. That time it was a quick throw and there was pressure.
Well, yeah, the pressure forced the throw by SMU. You call it cover 0, you call it gold, blitz, flash, whatever you want. The pressure by Baylor's defense is disrupting everything SMU is doing today.
This.
Fox Sports 1 college football is presented by the Cree LED Bowl. All Baylor, 31-0. Believe it or not, Bryce Petty is coming back out for yet another drive with his comfortable lead. He's taken some shots today and has come up in pain several times. Jefferson with a big gain on 1st down into SMU territory. And Richardson with a tackle after 13. Baylor right back in the ball. And right back to Jefferson. This time pulled down by Zelt Minor. Got a couple. 2nd down.
You know, Joe, we've talked about Bryce Petty leaving the game in the context of what he means to Baylor and the means to their season. That's exactly what we were talking about in the open.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he should be ignoring. Don't listen to us, you know? He's taken this Baylor program to where they are because of his attitude, his toughness, his leadership.
Flags coming from the secondary as Davion Hall gets his 1st career reception.
Flag on the play.
It may be wiped off. We'll see.
Personal foul, shot block. Number 2, offense. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's Johnny Jefferson.
Yeah, you'll see it right here, Joe. Number 2, Johnny Jefferson. Coming in low. You know, what happens is the offensive lineman engages the player high. You are not allowed to go low. A bit of unfortunate timing there. Offensive lineman saw the blitzing backer coming free. Johnny went low on him. O-lineman came back and hit him high. By definition, that's a penalty.
And so that erases Davion Hall's 1st career reception. There will be others. 2nd down and 23. Bubble screen for Norwood. Blocks from Hawthorne and Hall, but the defense rallies and Yinga knocks him down. Bryce Petty a season ago, 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, broke 17 school records, and wasn't invited to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
Frankly, I'll be honest, that was a joke to me. Bryce Petty deserved to be in that room in New York in December. Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best players in college football last year. He deserved to be there at the Heisman Trophy final.
They're down and long after the penalty. Into a tight window. Looked like the defense got there early, but no flags. Darian Richardson will get credit with a breakup, and it's 4th down. There's a ton of similarities between not just this year, but the whole career trajectory with Bryce Petty within this Baylor program to you towards the end of your career at Oregon.
Well, yeah. When I was at Oregon, we weren't the household name. We weren't the flashy uniform team that that they are now. We were the team that fought back, that were fighting against the Washingtons and the USCs and the UCLAs, trying to get some respect, and earned it with a conference championship as a junior and had to follow it up senior year.
That one shanked out of bounds by the All-American Roth. And SMU will take over at the 30. We'll talk more about Joey and Bryce's parallels when we come back. Nothing lead midway through this second quarter. Welcome you back inside. Joe Davis, Joey Harrington. We went to break talking a little bit about the similarities between the back end of your career at Oregon as you moved into the spotlight and what Bryce Petty's been going through the last year or two here.
Well, yeah, it's eerily similar to where the Oregon football program was at that time. Yeah. We were picked to finish 7th in the conference as my junior year. We went out and shared the Pac-10 conference championship and had to follow it up my senior year with the big Heisman campaign, with the national attention. I mean, it's really similar where the Baylor program is right now to where Oregon was 10, 15 years ago, which is why I say this is such an opportunity for Baylor as a program. Bryce Petty not only has a chance to go out and make a splash for himself individually, but he has the chance to really vault this Baylor program into one of the elite programs in the country.
And there is Petty. A little bit surprised to see him back in on that last possession after getting knocked around a couple of times and clearly coming up in pain in that lower back area. And the 31-0 lead past the halfway point of the second quarter. Draw play. Prescott Line gets a couple. So you guys both kind of broke out of the scene as juniors. You both came into your senior seasons highly touted. You had the billboard in Times Square.
Wow.
Part of your
We're digging
campaign.
for this one, huh?
How about that? Yeah. He's
okay, I like it. You know what? He deserves the attention.
Yeah.
He deserves the billboard.
Yeah.
But Petty doesn't start with H. You know, Harrington, Heisman, Harrington, Heisman.
So,
come on now.
So we can't put him on a billboard.
Well, no, you just can't call him Bryce Heisman, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Alliteration doesn't work real well there. Hurts him across his body. And able to find Thompson for a first down.
First down.
You know, I was saying earlier in the quarter that Bryce Petty had to come out of the football game. I'm going to reverse course here. And I think it's a good decision for him to stay in, and here's why. He's ignoring what everybody else says he should be doing, right? The whole country thinks he should be coming out of the ballgame right now to save himself for the rest of the season. Instead, he's staying in and showing to his teammates that he's a leader, he's gutty, and he'll do anything he can to win football games for this team. And that's what your teammates need to see from your quarterback.
But, I mean, you say that, but how about your Heisman tips? Number one is stay healthy. So are you going to have to flip back to your first
Okay, I'll go back to what my dad told me. Are you hurt or are you hurting?
Because
and only Bryce Petty can tell you that.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd say he's hurting. Number 2 and 3, don't believe the hype, good or bad. People are going to say great things about you when you're doing well. When you stumble, people are going to say bad things about you. You're never as good or as bad as they say you are. Don't force the issue.
Here's a screenplay and bounces right off of the shoulder pads of Pope.
I want to go back to this for a moment. Don't force the issue was the third point I wanted to make about Bryce. And it's not just Bryce, but it's Coach Briles. It's the Baylor program right now. We're all watching. The whole country is watching to see that exciting, energetic, explosive style of football. That just happens by being Baylor. That just happens by doing the things that Coach Briles has coached you to do. You don't need to try and make a home run every time. The home runs happen when you do things the right way. And number 4, you just got to get lucky. I mean, that's the reality. You need to have the right game at the right time and hope the right eyeballs are watching. And then things just kind of tend to fall into place.
Going to get a delay penalty and make this a third down and even longer.
Timeout. SMU, their third and final of the half.
Actually got a timeout before, and that flag came out from the back judge. Third and final timeout taken by June Jones in this half. And we're It's 31-0 lead for Baylor. Everything going right outside of scene. You know, Bryce Petty maybe in a little bit of pain, but you got to be feeling pretty good if you're Baylor about what's going on tonight.
Yeah, goal number 1, win the football game. Goal number 2, stay healthy doing it. You know, Bryce is dinged up a little bit, but not to the point that it's forcing him out of the game.
Yeah.
I think there are things that you can be happy with up to this point if you're Coach Briles, and there's things that need to be cleaned up. The personal foul on the sideline, a couple of maybe mental lapses up front blocking for Baylor, but those are things that you expect in the first game of the year. You know, that's what you try and work on. You work the kinks out so that down the road when you get ready for the Big 12 schedule, you're polished and you're rolling.
Well, we'll have a couple more opportunities to iron those wrinkles out. Northwestern State next week under the FCS ranks, and then at Buffalo before a bye leads into the Big 12 schedule. That's a whole nother topic, talking about that Baylor schedule in the context of this college football playoff. They're down in 7. A bull rush gets to Birch, and then down he goes. Taylor Young, the redshirt freshman from DeSoto, Texas, who they are really high on, gets his first career sack.
Joe, Baylor is doing a very nice job of giving this look. Right here, you got all 8 guys up at the line of scrimmage there, confusing this SMU offensive line to the point where they don't know who to block. Sometimes they're all coming, sometimes they're backing out, but what the SMU offensive line has to do is make a call and commit to it. That's what Phil Bennett is trying to do. He's trying to make the SMU offensive line make the incorrect call so that he has somebody running free on the quarterback.
Baylor will take a timeout in the first of the half.
Baylor, their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
Check in with Rob Stone in LA to see what's happening on the AT&T halftime.
Hey, Joe, we'll show you how Tennessee shot out to a strong start to the season. Plus, Joel and Dave will tell you who the best of the Big 12 was this weekend. And we're going to look ahead to Saturday's huge Michigan State trip to Oregon. That's all coming up on the AT&T at the half.
All right, Rob. Well, how about that matchup? Number 8, Michigan State. Number 3, Oregon. Contrasting styles. Never easy for a Big Ten team, or any team for that matter, to travel west and play at Autzen.
Yeah, last time Michigan State came out to Autzen Stadium, it wasn't very pretty. But this is a different Michigan State team than we saw back in 1998.
The year later was the last time those two teams played, 1999, a 27-20 Michigan State win in East Lansing. 4th down and 15. Offense is out there for June Jones. And more pressure, another sack. Javante McGee got there first, and then Sean Oakman cleaned it up. The 5th sack of the night for this Baylor defense.
You know, Joe, it doesn't matter what quarterback is in there for SMU right now. They don't stand a chance. The pressure from Baylor's front 7 has just been fantastic all night. Look at Sean Oakman swim the block, get into the backfield.
We knew the D-line was a strength, but you got to give credit, too, to what's happened in the back end to allow the defensive line to do its job.
Well, that's true. When Baylor has forced Neil Birch or Matt Davis to get the ball out of his hands, the secondary has done a really nice job of coming up and tackling the receiver.
Linwood. Stopped by Stephon Sanders. They quickly go out. Johnny Jefferson comes in. Wind down this first half. All kinds of time for Petty, who underthrew the stop route to Jay Lee. Coverage from Ajay Montez. 3rd and 10.
We've seen that happen a couple times there, Joe. Bryce Petty and his receiver not being on the same page. We saw it early with Antoine Goodley. Yep. He took it deep, and Bryce thought he was crossing face. Those are things that you work out in early ball games.
Game 1. Right?
Exactly.
Only a 3-man rush for SMU, so tight windows. Petty to look through. Tries to squeeze one into one of those windows. Does so successfully to Davion Hall. Flag came in late, and the official hat off, which could mean Hall went out of bounds. And then came back in and was the first to touch it, which would be an illegal touch. And would be the second time that Davion Hall has had his first career reception erased by a penalty.
Came back inbounds, established himself. Therefore, he was illegal to touch the ball. Completed pass.
Good explanation from Greg Burks because he was pushed out of bounds. The catch stands.
Hey, Joe, I'm not concerned about the penalty right now. If I'm Baylor, I'm concerned about Bryce Petty and his health. Watch him throwing the ball here. He just touches him.
And it makes you think it's not a contusion. It's not something that happened, you know, with a collision. It's something makes you think it's something muscular, right? When you're on throws like that, you hate to guess any time, but just looking at the symptoms. Bruises don't hurt like that when you're throwing on the run, right?
Well, they do if you got a big guy punching.
True. Stands in and lets it fly. Third time that he's overshot the deep ball, and that one by quite a bit to Jay Lee.
Yeah, Joe, I think it's a little bit more than first game not being on the same page right now. We've seen Bryce miss a couple deep balls that he doesn't miss. I mean, frankly, he makes those throws, and I think that his back right now is affecting his accuracy down the field.
Dumped this one off in space to Johnny Jefferson, the redshirt freshman. Helicoptered out of bounds by Greenbaum with a first down.
You know, what people don't realize is when you throw the ball as a quarterback, it's a full body movement.
Right.
It comes from your feet. It's your feet to your hips, to the weight transfer. And if he can't get his back and his hips into that throw, he's throwing with a lot of arm. And when you throw with all your arm, you're going to be less accurate. You're not going to have as much zip on the ball, and consequently, you're going to miss a lot of balls that you normally wouldn't.
Coming up on the AT&T halftime. Rob and the guys will take you inside the weekend of college football. Including the Utah State-Tennessee game going on right now. Rocky Top. He's incomplete, looking for Linwood out of the backfield. Third down. It's kind of amazing that we've seen Petty struggle a little bit and Baylor not be overly impressive and still be cruising 31-0.
Well, I think it says a lot about how much pain Bryce Petty's probably in. And he doesn't look as sharp right now as he did last year. I mean, he's grimacing after just about every throw.
Here comes pressure off his back foot, able to get rid of it to K.D. Cannon with a flag down coming from the secondary. The first and goal of it stands. It's going to be on Baylor.
Holding, number 55, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay third down.
Center Kyle Fuller. Seven penalties for 65 yards in this first half for the Bears. Last year, 82 yards per game was the most in the country. Already pretty darn close to that mark. So third and long and more pressure. Has him thrown off his back foot, but as Davion Hall entering the vacated area. And that face mask penalty is going to extend the drive. Instead of it being 4th down and 8, face mask from the secondary likely going to extend it. And the officials discussing this one, but it certainly looked like the helmet was grabbed.
There is no foul for face mask. There was no twist or turn.
Okay. Then what'd you throw it for in the first place?
I've never heard the no twist or turn.
They just showed it on the video board here at McLean Stadium, and The crowd thought they saw a twist and a turn, but they had the benefit of replay. Of course, the officials didn't. So they bring Callahan out to attempt a 35-yarder. He's good from 24 to start the scoring tonight. The redshirt freshman pushes this one wide. So they come away empty-handed on this drive, but lead 31-0 over SMU. Fox Sports 1 College Football is presented by the Cree LED Bowl. 31-0 Bears. Final seconds of this first half. Burcham will shovel it off to Pope. This Baylor defense is probably upstaged the offense in this first half.
They've looked sharp.
Yeah.
They've looked really sharp. They've looked aggressive. You know what? Most of all, they look like they trust each other, and that's something that you can't coach. You know, when you create as many turnovers as the Baylor defense did last year, you do it with aggressive play, and you're aggressive when you trust that your teammates are going to cover their responsibilities. When you've got so many new guys in the secondary, oftentimes it's tough to trust that right away. Baylor looks like they're just falling in this year like they did last year.
Similar looking play, dumping it off to Pope. And run it out of bounds by K.J. Smith.
K.J. Smith in the tackle.
I think there's some concern anytime you have that ridiculous of a number of takeaways like Baylor did last year that there'll be a regression and it'll be hard to keep up what you did. But that's the personality of this defense.
All right, that's what happened to Oklahoma State a couple years ago. Brandon Whedon, Justin Blackman's year. What did they have? 44 turnovers that season, or takeaways that season.
They go the other way with this dump off to Pope, who loses the football, and then it's scooped up by Taylor Lasecki. Moment of glory for the center. Gets a couple of yards to bring this first half to a close. 31-0. The Baylor Bears in front of SMU after one half. Here's the debut of McLean Stadium. Right now, we send you to Rob Stone in Los Angeles.
Joey, thank you. Welcome to the AT&T Fox Sports 1 College Football Halftime, mobilizing your world. Rob, Joel, Dave here with you. Hetty in obvious pain here. We had our research department get locked and loaded on him.
What a night for Baylor, and RG3 had a statue unveiled prior to the game. Now let me take a selfie with the Baylor line down there. A 31-0 lead for his Bears as we get ready to start the second half. Welcome it back inside. Joe Davis, Joey Harrington. You think Baylor, you think offense, but in this first half, that defense held SMU to 39 yards on 40 plays.
Yeah, that defense has been every bit as good as last year, and frankly, I think a little better right now. I mean, they had questions about the secondary, and not questions because they weren't good players, but they simply hadn't done it before. Xavier Howard, Orion Stewart. I mean, guys have just been playing fantastically aggressive, making big tackles for Baylor, and that front seven has just been applying pressure all night long on SMU's offensive line.
Other side of the ball, offense was good. Bryce Petty 13 of 23 for 161, but that's not the story. The story is he looks to be a little banged up.
Well, yeah, they're still putting up points. I mean, 31-0 at halftime, and we're, I guess, maybe expecting a little bit more. And the only reason we're showing you these clips is not because he's missed these balls, but because I think he's missed these balls because of his injury. You saw early in the first quarter, Bryce Petty throws a ball out to Jay Lee. Grimaces. He took a shot in the back on the series before. When you throw the balls that he's missed have been down the field. And when you throw the ball down the field, you have less margin for error. When you're guarding against a hip, when you're guarding against something in your lower body, remember, throwing the football is a full body movement. It's not just your arm. So when you're guarding against it, you're anticipating the pain. You're going to miss by just a little bit on those longer balls, and those are the ones that he's missed tonight.
Here's our first half stats, Joey, brought to you by Geico. And a defense with a couple of turnovers that came early and led to the first couple of Baylor touchdowns. SMU with 40 yards on 39 plays, or 39 yards on 40 plays total. And while the offense hasn't necessarily been the sparkling offense we've come to know from Baylor, it's been plenty with a compliment from the defense. And it'll be Baylor to begin the second half with the football at the 35.
Kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball being forced 30 yards from the spot of the kick. First down.
Chris Budden, you had a chance to talk with Art Briles.
Yeah, just before half, talked to Coach, asked him about Bryce Petty's injury and whether we would see him this second half. Coach Briles said probably not. It was Spencer who ran out there and went to go warm up earlier. Sorry, Seth Russell. He's out there right now. Petty walked out with the rest of the players who were injured very gingerly, so not likely we will see him this second half. I did ask him about the offense, and he says, not pleased right now. Too many mistakes. We need to tighten up. So it looks like that will not be in the hands of Bryce Petty. He is out here, though, does have his pads on, but not likely we will see him this second half.
Seth Russell unabashed on his first throw. A wide throw into coverage, but found Jay Lee, who's already got 6 catches. Ajay Montez with the coverage. They like this kid, redshirt sophomore from Garland, Texas. 2nd and 7. Here's Linwood for a few. 3rd and short.
Chapman with the ball carrier.
I want to hit this before we move on. Before we make a mountain out of a molehill, they still had 266 yards of total offense.
Yep. Linwood again. A spin move to get to midfield. And Darian Richardson pulled him down. First down. 244 yards. 161 through the air. Just over 80 on the ground. Now it's Seth Russell in the quarterback. All kinds of time. Here's Davion Hall going up against Greenbauer, who made a nice play on the ball. But a flag comes in late. So flag as Greenbauer defends Hall. Timing looked okay.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 22 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That didn't have anything to do with the timing. You get a hold of the face mask, and that will move the chains inside the 40.
You know, you saw that ball up in the air. Thrown by Seth Russell. This is something he'll learn. The more he plays, that's a ball that probably should have been put on a line, stop his guy in the hole, as opposed to giving the safety a chance to get in and even make contact on that play.
Another flag, this one on Baylor. And this would be the 8th.
Ball starts. Number 55 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
8 penalties on Baylor for 70 yards.
Well, that's also what we've come to expect from Baylor.
Yep. Like you said earlier, not going to hurt them tonight, but a team with playoff and national championship aspirations. Something to keep an eye on. So season wears forward. 6'3", 215-pound Seth Russell with a first down throw. Just looking for Hall again, defended again by Greenbauer. 2nd and 15. He's played in 7 games in his career, has Russell. He's a redshirt freshman last year. Completed above 60% of his passes. Linwood gets a few. 3rd and 12. Linwood, Big 12's top returning rusher. 6 carries for 33 yards in that first half. He averaged 7 yards a pop as a freshman last year. It's one of the best marks for a freshman in the last 2 decades. Russell, good movement in the pocket, resets the feet, gets picked off by Greenbauer. Boy, he was flirting with it that whole possession. Aiden Greenbauer with his 3rd career pick. Baylor with its first turnover of this game.
Right here, Joe. Keep an eye on him. Does a nice job of sitting out there waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Doesn't get drawn over by the quarterback's eyes. Steps right in front. A young quarterback and a young receiver. The quarterback is going to learn you don't throw that ball late into the middle. The receiver is going to learn that when it does come, you need to come back to your quarterback. You got caught drifting up the field a little bit. Maybe saw some open grass or turf.
Yeah.
Something green.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
First SMU play of the second half does just about what the entire first half did. A loss of yardage for Kevin Pope. Andrew Billings, one of 3 Waco natives on this starting defense. Dropped him for a loss of 4. Billings and Blackshear, the defensive tackles. And then Ryan Stewart, the down safety for this Baylor defense, all from Waco. Stewart and Blackshear from Midway High School, which is in Hewitt, just outside of town. And then Billings went to Waco High. 2nd and 14. Pope swings out, opens up space for Darius Joseph on a well-placed ball from Burcham. First down.
Well, Joe, it speaks to the amount of talent that they have here in the state of Texas. And when you think about the big-time programs within the state, Baylor, Texas, Texas A&M, and then you got SMU and Houston and TCU, and I mean, you just go down the list, and the state of Texas puts out enough high school athletes to furnish all of their rosters.
Over the last few years, nobody's won more games in the state of Texas than the Baylor Bears. From the 40, bubble screen Lancaster might have read his block wrong and went inside. With a block from Thompson, Terrell Burt came up and made the stop. Already 6 tackles for Terrell Burt out of that safety spot. The only returning starter in that Baylor secondary, which we've talked about over the course of the night as the question mark of this defense, not because of any lack of talent, but just because of lack of proven ability. These are not guys that have played in significant roles outside of Burt. Corner blitz coming from the near side. Burcham gets nailed by Sean Oakman. The ball came out. Falling on top of it was Chris Weeks. Oh. It makes you happy you're up here with me.
Yeah, exactly. You made the point earlier. Sean Oakman right here at defensive end has been active all night. And you said he wasn't a starter last year, but still honorable mention all Big 12. Has just been in the SMU backfield from the opening kick. I love what Coach Briles told us about him. You know, last year he was just such a raw, physical talent. They said that he could make a mistake and still get in there and make a tackle for a 5-yard loss. And I asked him if he's learned to play more technique, if he's become a better football player. He said, you know what, you don't want to make talent think too much.
Yeah, right. His line, they get what they can, and we'll punt it away. Bryce Hager made the tackle. Bo Blackshear there as well. Here comes punt unit out for the Mustangs. Good night for Bryce Hager after missing those final 4 games last year with a groin injury, had groin surgery. 100% coming into this season. Leading this Baylor defense, it has been so impressive tonight. Wobbly line drive kick. Norwood will let it bounce. And rolls all the way down to the 12. Really, you could say that offense built this stadium, but defense has stolen the show in the opening act.
Hey, if you don't know now, it's going to be game time in a little bit, baby.
Fox Sports 1 College Football is brought to you by the Cree LED Bowl. All Baylor. 31-0. 5 minutes into this second half. And Seth Russell back to work at quarterback. It's a part of his game the staff is high on, his ability to run. Better runner than Petty. Into the arms of Cameron Nwosu, and it'll be 2nd down and 5. Pulls it again. And runs for first down yardage up to the 25. Baylor continues to roll against SMU, one of 3 non-power conference teams they'll play before getting into Big 12 play. Now, Before this year, you'd look at that and say, okay, I mean, not a huge deal. You'd obviously like a little better strength of schedule. But in this new era with the college football playoff, where they're going to put so much stock in it, and it's going to be an eye test for human beings at the end of the season, you got to worry a little bit about this schedule for Baylor. Right?
I'm hesitating because instinctually you say yes, absolutely, because that's such a point of emphasis, it seems like, for the human beings, you know, and now that the computers are out of it.
What an adjustment by Hall. We'll say it was in bounds. Now, and the back judge comes up and says no. I think that is the right call.
But going back to the point, Baylor doesn't have a conference championship game. Big 12 does not have a conference championship game, and so they are going to, I guess, maybe be one quality opponent shorter than everybody else that does play in a conference championship game. So I think going forward, the automatic assumption is that you're going to want to play a tougher out-of-conference schedule. But if you lose that game, we don't know what it does to us. That's my hesitation is maybe you lose that game and you finish 10-1, 11-1.
Yeah.
Does it hurt you in comparison to other teams that finish undefeated or finish with one loss?
Is under further review. Ruling on the field was incomplete pass.
Take a closer look at this. I mean, the committee says they'll be taking the 4 best teams. It's the most qualified teams.
Joe, take a look at his right foot as he comes down. Excuse me, his left foot right there, toe on the line.
It's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it. I think you might have indisputable video evidence to confirm it.
Yeah, exactly.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass. 3rd down.
So they confirm the call versus stands, which would mean that they just didn't have enough to overturn. Which makes it 3rd down in about 7. So again, at the end of the season, getting back to this playoff discussion, this committee is going to choose the 4 best teams. Now, you're going to be looking at quite an argument if you have, say, a 12-1 Alabama or Auburn or SEC team with 1 loss, SEC champs, and hypothetically a 12-0 Baylor team who didn't play anybody in the non-conference schedule.
But if we go back in history, how many undefeated teams do you generally have going into the postseason, into the bowl season?
Yeah.
1, maybe 2, sometimes 0. Okay, how many one-loss teams do you end up with at the end of the season? Very few. So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get to that point of being a 1 or no loss team, or are you trying to set yourself up for being a 10-2 football team but having a good loss on your schedule? I mean, I don't know. I think there's an argument that could be made either way. I think it would favor playing a more difficult non-conference schedule right now, but I think it's going to vary year to year depending on what happens in the other conferences. I don't think you can automatically say that you need to go out and play Florida State like like Oklahoma State the other day, or you need to go play UCLA like Texas will. There's something to be said for just finishing the season with as many wins as you can.
Yeah. You know, for all the flack the BCS took about that second team, really all we're doing here is moving that argument down
to 5.
From 2 versus 3 to 4 versus 5, right? Linwood steps out of the tackle, and Shaka Linwood is inside the 45 in SMU territory. You mentioned UCLA taking on Texas and Oklahoma State, giving Florida State all they could handle last night. How about a couple of weeks from now, that Kansas State-Auburn game up in Manhattan?
Don't sleep on Kansas State now. There's a dark horse in this Big 12 conference.
SMU, they're first of the half.
You've got Baylor and Oklahoma really is the consensus class of the Big 12, but you've got 3 or 4 schools: Texas, Oklahoma State, West Virginia playing so well against Alabama, Kansas State, all in the mix in this Big 12 conference.
It was a heck of a day yesterday for the Big 12, but a heck of a night tonight. Ball is presented by the Crete LED Bowl. Beautiful night, a beautiful stadium to open. McLean Stadium, the bank of the Brazos River here in Waco. It's been all Bears. All 31 of their points coming in the first half. And drive number 2 of the second half here for Seth Russell. Sips one from Norwood. Bolting out of the secondary to make the stop was Darian Richardson. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
I like the play calling for Russell on this drive. You know, to start the second half, they came out throwing the ball down the field. Russell looked a little bit out of sync to start this drive. They run read option a couple times, let him run the football, settle in.
Johnny Jefferson with a first down run.
Seth Russell looks much more comfortable on this drive than he did on his first.
We hear all about Linwood and Chafin. Excited about them, but how about Johnny Jefferson, who's been pretty darn impressive in his few touches?
Well, it just speaks to the depth of this Baylor program. Kids want to come play here. It's an exciting style of football.
Jefferson again. And a block from Baker. And got 4. Redshirt freshman from Killeen, Texas. Big time, big play potential. Well, he's rock solid too. 5'10", 205. 37 yards on 6 carries for him tonight. And SMU didn't sub in time, so flag down. Too many men on the field. That nearly went the other way for 6. Wouldn't have counted. Too many men on the field.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Or that. The guy that wasn't off the field was offsides.
Second down.
Chuck Linwood has a first down to the 15.
You know what this does? Excuse me here, Joe. Running the football so much, it forces SMU's defense to commit an extra guy to stopping the run. Look at the top of your screen here. Got Baylor wide receiver, singled up on an SMU DB. Eventually, Baylor's going to notice that. It's going to make it easier for Seth Russell to throw the football. And I think very soon you're going to see some sort of play action and see the Baylor coaches give Seth Russell an opportunity to attack that single coverage outside. Let him get some good quality throws in.
In for Bryce Petty, who played the entire first half. Russell runs himself right into the arms of Zach Wood and Jonathan Yinga and pays for it. 3rd long. Wood, a junior, Rowlett, Texas, coming off a great fall camp. Returning starter for this unit. Pressure on 3rd down is picked up, so Russell with time to throw the wheel, and Norwood couldn't pull it in with solid coverage from Darian Richardson. Bryce Petty dealing with an injury. Not the only one, Chris Button.
Yeah, Baylor's without their starting quarterback, but they're also without their star wide receiver, Antoine Goodley. Trainers tell me that he suffered a bruise in his leg. He will not be playing this second half. In fact, isn't even in pads. So not good news regarding this offense for Baylor.
And he was held without a catch during that first half. Petty missed him on a couple of balls down the field. Callahan from 32. The flag down. They make it from 37.
Ball starts. Number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And again, you've said it. These penalties aren't hurting you tonight, but it's reason for concern moving forward.
Well, yeah, I don't think it kills you in this first game. But you do have to address it. And Baylor was able to get by last year because their offense was so good. But if you do want to win championships, those are the mistakes you have to eliminate.
37-yarder from Callahan gets blocked. Stephon Sanders. And the ball comes out. And Baylor fell on it for a moment before SMU. Zach Wood climbs on top of it inside of the 10. And had Baylor gotten that, it would have been a first down for the Bears because it did change possessions. There's a flag down as well. Greg Burks and this crew will sort it out.
I don't think there's a whole lot to sort out here. What you're going to have is an offensive lineman for Baylor throwing the ball down the field.
Can't do that?
Last time I checked,
no.
Nope. Rugby, maybe. Aussie rules football.
Can you?
I don't know.
No, I think you can throw back.
Illegal forward pass on number 60 of the kicking team. That's a loss of down penalty. We'll go 5 yards from the spot of the foul. First down, SMU. Timeout.
That is big Laquan McGowan. Big Laquan McGowan. 6'7", 400 plus. Review. Kind of a wild play. Baylor in front 31-0 in the third quarter. Laquan McGowan threw the ball forward. They initially ruled an illegal forward pass after this blocked field goal. We're going to bring in now Mike Pereira, our rules expert, as we take a look at this play and try to sort it out. You're the busiest man in college football this weekend. Your fourth game in 4 days, but are you still seeing clearly enough to let us know what we got here?
This is the kind of game when you're official, you say, why did a play like this happen when it's 31-0?
Exactly.
I think they got crossed up because it's actually an illegal forward pass. If you're going to call that, is going to be on Baylor, and Baylor would keep the ball. But he actually threw it from the ground. So you really could have the Baylor player down and no pass period. So I think, to tell you the truth, they got so confused, they said, let's go to replay. Let's just go figure out what the heck happened.
Okay, so let's walk through this. The ball gets kicked and blocked. SMU recovers and starts their possession, correct? At that moment, they fumble, and Baylor recovers. That they get a new set of downs. They've established possession. So now at that point, when Laquan McGowan throws the football, are you saying he's down when he's on the ground, or it's illegal forward pass from that point?
What they will determine is if he's down on the ground with possession of the ball, and if he is, the play is over at that point. If they're going to say that he threw the ball forward, then you do have the illegal forward pass that is incomplete when it hits the ground. So the ball is dead at that point, and they could penalize him 5 yards. But my sense would be, when they see the play rule out, run out here, that they'll say he had possession of the ball before he threw the pass and was on the ground.
So it's going to be Baylor.
Either way.
So either way,
it's going to be Baylor's ball.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that would keep Baylor from getting the football.
Okay. So 4 games in 4 days for you. You went from, Thursday night, Seattle, Friday night, Denver to LA, to Waco. Yeah, what do you think of this new building here?
Oh, the building is fantastic. The openness of it, the 360-degree view that you get is spectacular. But great football. I've got to see great quarterbacks in really 4 days. I saw Connor Halliday throw for a ton of yards for Washington State. Cody Kessler, Sark has transformed that offense now. And, of course, here with Bryce Petty. And, brings to mind the new rule change about low hits on the quarterback. And I think that's a key change. With all these great quarterbacks in the league, they're taking another step to protect them even more. You can't make forcible contact on a quarterback in the knee area or below if he is in a passing posture. Has to be in a passing posture. You can tackle him, though. You can reach and swipe, but you can't drive a shoulder or a helmet into the knee area below. Some in the NFL called it the Tom Brady rule.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This is essentially the same rule that they instituted in the NFL a couple years ago, correct?
And it actually does bring the rule exactly in line with the NFL rule when it comes to protection of the quarterback. Remember, he's got to be in passing posture. If he's on a run at all, you can tackle him low. Just if he's set and going to pass the ball.
And the key term, forcible contact, right?
Right, forcible. you can tackle him.
Yeah.
Reach out with an arm, swipe him. Just don't drive into his knee area or below with a shoulder or a helmet.
Tough gray area, isn't it? I mean, to decide what's forcible and what's
tough.
not.
I mean, one was called, I saw one called this week, and it was actually, I believe it was in at Washington State game in Seattle, and it wasn't a low hit. It was actually the initial contact was up in the area mid-thigh, and then he slid down from there.
Mike, what happens if you're being blocked into the quarterback low?
Then you're clear. That block takes you. You have to have an unimpeded path, to the quarterback. And the other thing too, which I'm really glad they changed. We all hated the targeting rule last year, right? Well, now they changed that rule. The replay official can overturn the ejection and can overturn the 15 yards. Now, penalty might still stay if they say it's roughing the passer with targeting. Then they could take off the targeting and the ejection, but the roughing the passer would stay on. But I think this was a terrific change on a rule that was so convoluted last year and got so many people upset that the rules maker did a good job arriving at this. Obviously, it's a confusing play. I don't think I've seen one last this long. And Walt Anderson is the coordinator of officials for the Big 12, the Big 12 officials. And he's actually in that replay booth, and they're trying to decide, I guess, what they have here. And looking through it a couple times here, there was possession gained
by SMU,
when they picked up the block kick. So you have that. And so then you come to this spot. Now you're looking at all aspects of this. So you're going to get a block here. Now the first question becomes, does SMU possess there? He's got control, takes steps, now attempts to hand it to his teammate. Now they could be looking at illegal forward handing. Was this a forward handoff? They might look at that. Looks to me like it's they're side by side, which would turn it into a fumble. Regardless, it should never take this long. Let's make a decision. It's 31 to nothing. Let's get going.
You're on your fourth game in 4 days.
I'm going home tomorrow.
You got an answer, I think.
After further review, the kick was blocked. SMU recovered the kick, subsequently fumbled, recovered by Baylor. Then we had an illegal pass, but the Baylor player was already down. Therefore, it's first down Baylor at the 20.
You nailed it.
Please set the game clock to 5:40.
I would only say 5 minutes. What did this take?
Yeah.
Enough time for us to run down the press box and grab a little barbecue.
I'm thankful that they got me a little airtime for this. That's about the only thing I can say. So at least I got my suit on the air,
Yeah. Now you can't wear that one next week, though.
Yeah, I know. I got to go to another suit. But here's the key. See, he clearly was down in the bounds. So right decision, took a little time to make it. And by the way, great being with you guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I'll be back in L.A. next time you guys are on, supporting you, and look forward to talking to you all season long.
I appreciate it, Mike. Well, you're upstaging us, though, with a vest on. I mean, geez, it's hard for us to keep up. We're just trying to get our feet wet here.
I know I work hard on this style, I know the vest is nice, but I'm so hot, I'm dying. I'd rather be in a T-shirt for God's sake.
We got to give Vicky a little bit of credit for this one, right?
It's all Victoria. All Victoria.
Russell's inside the 5. Mike, we appreciate it. Get home and relax for a day or two. Okay?
Get some barbecue before you leave, though.
Oh, I am.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
A little VTech, maybe a little Rudy's here in town.
Tonight.
So they get that sorted out, and suddenly Laquan McGowan's a hero. Shock Linwood fighting through contact and fumbling the ball into the end zone, recovered by SMU. And that will bring it out to the 20 unless they go to review and find that he broke the play before the fumble.
Mike, come on back.
He went home. He left. He went home.
He's recovered by Montez in the end zone.
Ruling on the field. SMU recovered in the end zone. Touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20.
So it looks like we may stick with it. 31-0 contest. 5 minutes left. Third quarter. So let's take a look here. Did he break the plane? Only got to get to the front side of that goal line with a ball.
Oh boy, Mike.
Mike, come back. Well, no official review on this one, so it remains SMU ball at the 20 in a 31-0 game. Bertram back to work. He'll dump it off. That's the freshman Darius Durrell with his first career touch. Goes for a loss of 2. Mike Pereira, you didn't quite get out of here before we pulled you back in. What's the final ruling on this?
Oh, I think the ruling was right. I think that's one of these where you really can't tell. And it has to be absolutely indisputable, beyond a shadow of a doubt to reverse. And that wasn't the case there. It looked like the ball might be just coming loose as it got to the plane.
And in a 31-0 game at this point, a little bit inconsequential. Good luck telling Chuck Linwood that close to his second touchdown of the night. 2nd and 12 for Bertram and SMU. Durrell again showing good quickness. Got belted by Sean Oakman. I know you said this week you were interested to see if Oakman had developed at all as a football player. Freak of an athlete.
Right.
But raw as a football player. What's your assessment been of the way he's developed?
Oh, he's been fantastic tonight. And what I mean was, on sheer talent and size, Sean Oakman could get in and disrupt a play in the backfield. But as a defensive end, it's not always about making the play yourself. Sometimes it's about getting across the line of scrimmage, keeping the runner inside of you, getting across and reading, sliding down and collapsing a play. Sean has done a very nice job tonight of playing his technique as well as getting in and making some big disruptive plays.
Pressure on 3rd down. He got rid of it to Malone, who got pushed out by Ryan Stewart, short of the 1st down. So many guys you see, defensive linemen that are that tall, are so easily leveraged and got up under. But do his long arms counter that?
Well, yeah, he's able to keep the offensive lineman off him with that reach. You know, Coach Bryant said you can shake your hand from across the room. Those long arms help because you can keep running backs coming to chop you. You can keep the left tackles off your feet. And when you can keep your feet as a DN, you can turn that corner.
SMU brings the punt team out on 4th down and 1. Carried by Norwood, who had a solid 45-yard return to set up a Baylor score earlier. Takes a fair catch on this one. Good punt from Jackson Kuntz to the 26. College football returns to Fox and Fox Sports 1 next Saturday with a full slate of games. Boy, K-State can relate with Iowa State, who fell to North Dakota State last night. You had it last year when the defending FCS champs went in and beat K-State.
What a program.
Yeah.
What a program they built up there.
Of course, one of the most anticipated games of the season. Michigan State and Oregon at 5:30 Eastern on Fox. We'll be down in Austin for BYU Texas. Revenge on the mind of the Longhorns. An embarrassing loss, what you call maybe the beginning of the end last year with a 40-21 BYU win in Provo. And Tatum Hill had 405 yards of offense and scored 5 touchdowns. He's back.
Well, there's a guy who's flown under the radar. We're talking about a Heisman Trophy discussion. Wow. How about Hill at BYU? How about Chucky Keaton? Yeah. Last year we talked about him for a Heisman Trophy from Utah State. Got injured and things kind of got a little derailed. Chucky's back and he's healthy. There's a lot of guys that kind of fly under the radar. Taylor Kelly, Arizona State.
You like him?
I do. Yeah. I like him a lot. He may be hurt a little bit this year because they lost a lot on defense. And as we know, oftentimes it goes to the best player on the best team. And if you finish with 8 wins during the season, then you don't find yourself in the race very often. But a fantastic, talented quarterback there at Arizona State.
Russell goes to Armstead. The converted offensive lineman with his 2nd catch. Out to midfield. Now it's time for the Lowe's Never Stop Improving Game Break. Rob Stone.
Hey, Joe, Tennessee, they've won their 6th straight season opening game. Here's Marlon Lane from 7 yards out. Remember, in 2 weeks, Tennessee at Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's one of those Big 12 matchups we're talking about, non-conference play, that Tennessee-Oklahoma game. Oklahoma bolstering that schedule some. Hoping that it helps out if they're in the discussion towards the end of the season. You're looking at the college football playoff. Your thoughts on Oklahoma? Because this is a team that some people would say was vaulted into the top spot in the preseason poll in the Big 12, into the top 5 nationally off of the merit of that Sugar Bowl win over Alabama alone.
Right. You know, I think
can and can't quite catch up.
That was a close one there. I think Oklahoma may have a few question marks as well. You know, Knight at quarterback for Oklahoma had a wonderful game against Alabama to finish the season, and that's built a lot of momentum. But really, that was his best game of the season. There were times during last season when he struggled. Blake Bell came in, quarterback. The Bell moved to tight end. I think people have anointed Knight as one of the class of the Big 12, maybe a little bit too soon. He has the potential to be a wonderful player.
Russell got pinballed around and get a first down.
But it's been based on one great game against an Alabama team that was really disappointed after a devastating loss to Auburn. And, you know, college football now is won and lost by great quarterback play. I mean, if you've got a great quarterback, you got a chance. And if you've got a quarterback who struggles, you know, you're going to have to make up for that. So I'm still waiting to see personally if Knight can be that consistent guy that we saw against Alabama.
48-16 win against Louisiana Tech. The opener in Norman last night. Jay Lee collects another reception for a first down. Oklahoma is the only program that's ever repeated as Big 12 champions. Did it in 06 and 07. Baylor trying to do the same. They're winning the title last year. First outright title since 1980 back in the Southwest Conference, where these two programs, Baylor and SMU, were rivals. Inside of a minute in this third quarter, which has been scoreless. On the slant, Lee spins away from Montez and reaches for a touchdown. Jay Lee, one of the bright spots on this opener for Baylor. Catches, 83 yards and a touchdown, third of his career. And 22 catches all of last season, already 8 of them tonight.
Well, Baylor's going to be looking for somebody to replace Tevin Reese. You know, Tevin Reese and Antoine Goodley were an incredible 1-2 punch last year. They're looking for someone to complement Antoine Goodley.
So far, Lee's done a nice job of that. Let's check in again with Chris Budden.
Well, Joe, we talk about how McLean Stadium's done so much for recruiting here, but Art Briles isn't afraid to go outside of Texas. In fact, not even afraid to go outside the country. 8,541 miles all the way to Australia. That's where he got the Muir brothers, Blake and Sean. Also, Jason Osei, he comes from England. Briles has had a lot of success in the past recruiting internationally. When he was at Houston, they got Sebastian Ballmer. Here they also got another guy out of Canada, and Danny Watkins. Turned both of those into NFL draft picks. So he says he likes drafting international players and recruiting them because they just respect it so much and they appreciate the program. So quite a ways away, 13 hours ahead of time. So your family and friends, if you're watching, it's noon, having your lunch, watching some Baylor football, Joe.
All right, Chris. You know, the Muir brothers. And like RG3 said to Chris earlier tonight, who wouldn't want to be at Baylor right now? Doesn't matter where you're from. That reach is growing for this program and this university. There's Deion Sanders Jr. Oh my goodness. Absolutely destroyed short of the 15. And we'd love to tell you who, but there is no 84 on the Baylor roster.
Well, it looks like a replacement jersey.
Yeah. You got to make that play before it.
11.
Use your replacement jersey. It's Lee Bristow, a backup tight end. See the 11 on the back of the helmet there. Raw can't pull that one in. So Art Briles has built this thing into a place that people recognize. Chris telling you about all the international talent they've brought in. We've heard from Sean Oakman tonight and how good he's been at defensive end. He got to Baylor largely because of the relationship that he had with Phil Bennett. Remember, Oakman started his career at Penn State. Phil Bennett and Dave Wannstedt, our friend back in studio tonight, while they were together at Pitt, they recruited Sean Oakman and they developed a relationship with him. And when Oakman decided he was headed out at Penn State, Phil Bennett got a hold of him and said, hey, you know, I'm down at Baylor now. You should come join me down here. And Sean Oakman said, where's Baylor? And Coach Bennett said, it's in Waco. And Oakman paused and thought about it for a second and said, huh, I've never heard of Waco. He's here now. Phil Bennett's happy about it. 6'9", 280-pounder, originally Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. Waco. I think actually my GPS on my phone, when you type it in, that's how Siri says it. I'm not joking. Try it. Even Siri might have it figured out soon. Well, Burcham can't get away from pressure. Sacked again, back inside the 5. This time it's Bo Blackshear. And this third quarter winding down after sack number 7 for this Baylor defense. What a night it's been for the Baylor Bears, opening up the $266 million McLean Stadium. Jay Lee with the latest touchdown in a 38-0 Baylor lead.
On the banks of the mighty Brazos, a new era of Baylor football is born. With Coach Briles and my boy Bryce, the Bears are ready to come out of hibernation and go hunting for a national championship. Sick 'em, Bears. Sick 'em.
Unmistakable tones of statman and voiceover artist Barry Allen bringing us back from break and into the fourth quarter here in Waco. Cal Spengler back to return this punt. It's a perfect spiral that Spengler will take with his spin at the 45. And with the flag down, gets across the 40.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, number 75 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Goes on Sam Baker, or Troy Baker. He comes back out with his offense. We begin the fourth quarter. Baker, another Waco guy. Connolly High School. Says he remembers as a kid going to games at the old Floyd Casey Stadium. High school games that had more people than the Baylor games would have. Now he gets to be here while they open this place. That one batted down by Derek Longoria.
This is broken up by Derek Longoria. Second down.
Throw it quickly to Hawthorne into the blitz, and Hawthorne gets 5. His third catch of the day. Baylor offense loaded at receiver. I worry a little bit about Goodley taking his pads off. Out for the second half. Didn't have a catch. Already got Clay Fuller out until October. Corey Coleman out as well.
And Lynx Hawthorne has now taken himself off the field. This is very quickly.
Russell escapes pressure, will run for a first down. Boy, he's fast inside the 35.
I was going to say what has started as a strength for this Baylor offense, returning 6 of their top 7 receivers from last year, is very quickly turning into a bit of a dicey situation. You mentioned earlier, Fuller, Coleman, Goodley, Hawthorne. Those are 4 big names. Jay Lee has played very well for Baylor tonight, but if you don't have your full depth at wide receiver, Baylor's a little bit limited in what they can do.
Play action, wants Cannon, trying to run under it. Too far. McLean Stadium, Waco, Texas. $266 million facility. Opening night of this stadium for number 10 Baylor. Highest preseason ranking since 1957. With Joey Harrington and Chris Budden, Joe Davis. As Baylor looks to move to 1-0. There's Jefferson. Brought down by Nabashosi. It'll be third down. When we talk about this Baylor schedule and how relatively weak it is without a power conference team in the non-conference play the first few weeks, but as more flies drop here with guys going out with injuries, you almost have to be a little bit happy that you're facing Northwestern State, not in the case of somebody like Texas, a physical BYU team coming in the next week.
Right, this may be the best thing to happen to this Baylor football team, having 2 softer games over the next couple weeks with the injuries to Goodley and Petty, who are the cornerstones of this offense.
Davion Hall. What a nice day for the true freshman in his debut.
That's complete to Davion Hall.
4th down and 1 coming up. The Bears right back on the ball. And it's Jefferson trying to bounce his way for a first down, and does for the flag down.
Jefferson on the carry. Flag on play.
Holding, number 76 offense. 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
Should have put him in a 4th down and much longer. Here's that Baylor schedule we keep referencing before they get into the Big 12 schedule against Iowa State. They got that bye week following these 3 non-conference games. What else pops out to you as they move into Big 12 play?
Well, I think that people are overlooking Texas a little bit this year. You know, people are talking about Baylor, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State had a big year. Kansas State is kind of the vogue underdog in the Big 12, and people are counting Texas out. Remember, this is a talented team that is going through a coaching change, and they haven't lived up to expectations the last couple of years, but Charlie Strong is really getting that program going in a different direction.
Callahan tries from 52, and it looks like he had enough distance but missed it wide. Art Briles told us comfortably to 45. Gave him a shot there from 52 and just missed.
Introduce.
Fox Sports 1 College Football is presented by the Cree LED Bulb. And Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. The programs that promote character and leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. New quarterback comes in for SMU. It's Colney Castle. Redshirt freshman from Washington seeing his first action. And handed it off to Lemche for his first carry. Casey Lemche for his first touch. June Jones starting to empty that bench with this one out of hand at this point. Get as many players reps as he can. And at this point, probably still searching for an answer at quarterback. I mean, why not give this guy a chance?
Yeah. I think you're going to find somebody between Neil Bertram and Matt Davis. I mean, I think the pressure from Baylor's front 7 really sent both of them into modes they hadn't been to at this point in the season. I mean, the disruption that guys like Sean Oakman and Jamal Palmer caused in the backfield really took SMU out of their offense from the start. So I think you're going to find an answer between Neil Bertram and Matt Davis. I just don't think it's going to be against Baylor.
Yeah, right. Not a very soft open for these young quarterbacks to go through against Baylor, let alone in front of these 45,000 fired up fans with the new stadium. Castle throws on time and a nice grab made by Stewart. Dejon Stewart with his first catch. Guy that turned down Notre Dame to come to SMU. Castle out of Yakima, Washington. Back to Stewart. Second down and 10. Bonds provided the pressure on Castle. Third quarterback to play in this game for SMU against this Baylor defense, which has also started to roll some of the 2s and even 3s into the game. Even with the 38 points scored, it'll be the defense that'll steal the headlines tomorrow. Castle confidently throws on the money for 7 yards. And Shelby Walker, his first catch.
Well, Joe, I guarantee you, even though you got young guys in for Baylor right now, they're going to be just as fired up to preserve this shutout. Coach Bennett's going to be coaching these guys hard from the sidelines because it's a point of pride for any defense to be able to hold your opposing offense to no points. It doesn't matter what type of or what time of the season it is. To be able to pitch a shutout is a big accomplishment for a defense, and I know every young player out there is going to be feeling that right now.
It's the first play of this half running Baylor territory by SMU's offense. The line got belted, but got enough. Brian Nance making the stop. Alfred Pullum in on the stop. And that'll extend the drive with a first down at the 43. Castle again steps into a confident throw that eats Stewart up. He's able to hang on to it.
Nice anticipation. Yeah. Nice anticipation. He let that ball go before his receiver finished his break. He turned his head, got around, and hit him right in the face mask.
Definitely playing with confidence. You say there are 3 elements to a college quarterback, right? You've got the physical side of it.
Right.
Then there's confidence, and then there's coaching.
Right. I think all 3 of those things play equally for a college kid. You know, you get to the NFL, and everybody's got talent. And people aren't worried about developing your skills if you're a coach. It's more just about maintaining. So at the college level, though, you can still mold a young quarterback. They're still impressionable.
Went for Walker again, didn't give him a chance. 3rd down and 4. Tion Wright in coverage. Well, he's certainly got the coaching part of it going for him, with June Jones running the show. Seems to have a strong arm. And certainly throwing it with confidence on this drive. All 11 men within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage on 3rd and short. He put it right in the hands of Deion Sanders Jr., who dropped it. And it's 4th down.
Well, he's looked sharp, Castle has throwing the football tonight. You know, June Jones, you mentioned a moment ago, has had a tremendous amount of success coaching quarterbacks, record-setting quarterbacks. Timmy Chang, Colt Brennan back in Hawaii. Last year, Garrett Gilbert did a fine job for him after transferring from Texas. It's a very quarterback-friendly system that June Jones, the run and shoot from old Mouse Davis a few years ago, but it relies on good decision-making, not only by your quarterback, but by your wide receivers as well.
On 4th down, he double clutched and pulled it down, took a sack. 8th one of the night for the Baylor defense. This one, Suleiman Masumbuko, junior from Euless, Texas, originally from Rwanda. Bill Bennett fired up about another sack for this defense. 8 of them tonight. Well, Jay and Dan are on vacation, but they will get Fox Sports Live immediately following the game, thanks to Kappa Kappa Gamma for their support. Big fans of Jay and Dan, they want them back from vacation. We'll get them shortly. All Baylor tonight, 38-0. Defense has been impressive. Offense has done its thing. In addition to the defense being as impressive as it has been, the other main stories tonight, Antoine Goodley not in pads in the second half with an injury. Bryce Petty not playing in the second half with some kind of lower back injury. Davion Hall takes it into SMU territory.
Pass complete to Davion Hall. Tackled by Troy Castle. And that's another Baylor.
Baylor fans, you hope that injuries will be something where you just take some time this week, relax, let it heal, and you're good to go against Northwestern State. You're thankful for the fact that it's Northwestern State, not a bigger FBS power opponent. But again, you're without Bryce Petty in the second half, and without Antoine Goodley, one of the nation's top combos. Both guys going down with injuries tonight.
Right, the Antoine Goodley maybe worries me a little bit more because we didn't see him. He didn't catch a ball tonight. Bryce Petty showed that he could still play with the back injury. Probably shouldn't. Doesn't want to. It's not ideal. But Antoine Goodley, after that first ball up the seam, where he and Bryce weren't quite on the same page, we didn't see him the rest of the night. It was a bit overshadowed because of the great play by Jay Lee, touchdown from Katie Cannon. You know, Baylor is so stacked at wide receiver that you almost didn't miss him. But then seeing him not in pads on the sideline, that could be a big loss for this Baylor football team if he's not able to come back and come back quickly.
And Chris did report it was a leg injury. Russell on 3rd and 9. That one was nearly picked off. And it'll be 4th down. So leg bruise is the official report right now from the Baylor training staff about Antoine Goodley, who goes without a reception here in the opener. And no official report yet as to what the injury is for Bryce Petty, but clearly bothered by something in his core, lower back area. Fourth down and 9. They'll go for it. And Russell finds Cannon for a first down.
And that's another Baylor.
On the screen, here's Hall. Boy, strong legs to power that group of tacklers forward for a first down.
Right. If I'm the Baylor coaching staff, one positive thing that I'm taking out of this game on offense, the play of Katie Cannon, the play of Davion Hall. You've got a lot of reps for some of these young receivers, and with guys like Corey Coleman out, Fuller's out. Jay Lee was nursing a hamstring injury coming into this game. Goodley is now out. You're going to need to rely on these young receivers at the beginning of the season, and to get them early reps right now and see him play so well has got to be encouraging.
There's both of them right there. Hall with the catch, Cannon with the block out in front. 8 yards, 2nd and 2. Silas Nacita with his first carry, gets close to a first down. We'll spot him just short, so 3rd down, and can get a first down.
3rd down.
3rd and less than a yard from the 4. Russell pulls. Got fancy with it. Bryles not going to like him sticking the ball out. He did. He'll mark him down, but that doesn't change the fact that he showed the ball in front of him on his way to the tackler.
Tuck it away, young man. That is not something you want to do, especially going into the end zone. You saw it earlier in the ball game. Baylor fumbled into the end zone, lost points on the scoreboard, and gave SMU the ball on the 20-yard line.
Silas Nacita with a touchdown. And everybody getting involved now on this special night in Waco. Extra point is good. Zeta plunging his way into the end zone to make it 45-0 for the number 10 team in the country. Fox Sports 1 College Football is presented by the Cree LED Bulb. All Baylor 45-0. Petty's already injured. What now?
Oh, face mask right on that right hand.
And one play later.
After he hands the ball off, watch him take a look at his right hand here.
It is the throwing hand. The sophomore backup quarterback who's not got the ice on the hand.
Not something you want to see if you are a Baylor quarterback coach.
I think right now Baylor just wants to get out of here. Right? See the 5:06 run out and get out of here with a win. All Bears tonight with a 45-0 lead. Final minutes of this one at McLean Stadium in Waco. The Bears on the verge of getting to 1-0 in this stadium and on this season, justifying that top 10 preseason ranking for the time being. Coverage downfield, so Castle goes underneath and Lemke drops it. Fox Searchlight presents the new crime thriller, The Drop, starring Tom Hardy, James Gandolfini. It's in theaters September 12th. Well, I know you said you think they've got their quarterback with either Bertram or Davis, but you think reps go up this week for Colney Castle?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, if you're going to go in with those two guys, Bertram or Davis, you're not going to pull a switch just because of a young guy playing well in the second half of a blowout. I think you're going to make a decision on one of those two guys. I think if I'm going to go off of something tonight, I'm going to go with Davis. He gives you a little bit more escapability at times. Bertram looked tentative. You know, that was kind of the problem last year when he did come in and play for the injured Garrett Gilbert. He looked a little bit tentative. And in this offense where you're relying on timing, you're relying on seeing the same thing as your receiver, you put a lot of trust in the decision-making of your quarterback, and if you're making those decisions late, it's going to lead to turnovers. I think Matt Davis maybe gives them the better chance right now.
Castle heaves that one out of bounds. And it's fourth down. SMU goes at North Texas next week, then a bye, then Texas A&M, then TCU. Going to be tough for June Jones' team to avoid missing a bowl game for the second straight year.
Well, Gary Patterson is always so good on defense down there at TCU, and boy, A&M looked good.
Yes, they did.
Against South Carolina to start the season.
Long roll down at the 30. Saturday, college football on Fox returns with an epic early season showdown. Michigan State and Oregon. Number 8 against number 3. First meeting since '99. Michigan State won 27-20 in East Lansing. Boy, is that going to be a fun one. Atmosphere is going to be incredible up at Austin. Care to give us any insight? Anything? You don't have to give us a pick. What should we be looking for in that game? Some inside perspective on it.
Well, which they're contrasting styles. They're completely different, polar opposites from one another. And I'll be interested to see if the power style of Michigan State, if Oregon's defense can stop it. They've struggled the last couple years against Stanford, the power team in the Pac-12. That's the type of football that Oregon has struggled to defend, and that's exactly what Michigan State does.
Another one of those cross-sectional, cross-conference games that, as we move into this playoff era, becomes even more important. You saw LSU Wisconsin last night. That's another one of those games that a lot of eyes were on, not just LSU against Wisconsin, but SEC against Big Ten. Now you get to see Big Ten against Pac-12 with that matchup next Saturday, 5:30 Eastern on Fox. Oregon and Michigan State. Gus Johnson, Charles Davis, Smalley McGrath out in Eugene. We get another flag on Baylor.
Ball starts. Number 69 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Penalty number 12 for 100 yards. Nisita. It's back. Penalty yards, and it'll be third down. So your overall impressions of McLean Stadium the first night?
Beautiful. A wonderful facility, a great place for college football. I love the setting, right on the river. You got the little lagoon that comes in, a little bit of sailgating. I mean, I think this is an incredible recruiting tool for Baylor. I think it could be a springboard launching them into really a national powerhouse.
That one's tipped and caught by Davion Hall to the first down to the 40.
Yeah, this is the type of building you can bring recruits into if you're Art Briles and say, you know what, this is what you're going to be spending the next 5 years in. The atmosphere, the facilities, we're going to take care of you here at Baylor. Not only are you're going to play a fun, fast style of football, but we're going to take care of you while you're here.
Chris told us earlier they didn't even take recruits to Floyd Casey. Something that, you know, just kind of the elephant in the room type thing, brushed under the rug as best they could.
Well, when you're comparing it with the other stadiums around the country, I don't blame them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's been a bit of an arms race for the last decade or two in college football to see who can build the biggest, flashiest stadium, locker room, practice facility. And when you're trying to impress a 16, 17-year-old kid, those are the things that do it.
Briles told us not quite yet recruiting on tradition, and the infant stages of that. Recruiting on flair and flash. And the stadium and the jerseys, the offense, we certainly have them.
Illegal snap, number 62 offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And another Baylor penalty. Now the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff player of the game. And it had to come from the Baylor defense for the performance they had. How about Sean Oakman? A couple of sacks and the forced fumble.
Yeah, we asked the question if he's learned his technique, if he's learned to play more disciplined football. I would say yes.
Yeah. And still has that freakish athletic ability, 6'9", 280. And chisel. Silas Nisita gets popped. And Nisita stays on his feet and gets 5. Chris Johnson, third-string quarterback. Off of the pull read, gets inside the 20. His defense now seconds away from pitching the first shutout against an FBS opponent since 1995 when they beat NC State 14-0. And so SMU, the unfortunate squad that has to come in here and open this place up for Baylor. They roll 45-0. Art Briles and the Bears have a solid night to open this place. Right now, that's sending to Los Angeles for Fox Sports Live, but we'll be right back here to Waco in just a moment.
Yes, sir. This is Fox Sports Live. Ryan Field here with Joel Clark.